This comes as US President Donald Trump says he's discussing a range of options to acquire Greenland, including the use of the military. Washington says it needs the territory to stave off an increased threat in the Arctic posed by Russia and China. Several European leaders have penned a joint statement this week saying that the region's security is a collective issue and that Greenland belongs to its people.
380,000 homes were left without power on Friday after Storm Goretti hit France. The north of the country was worst hit, with all train services in the region of Normandy cancelled. Ross Callan reports.
In Normandy, heavy rain is sweeping across the region and winds in excess of 200 kilometres an hour have brought down trees on railway lines and electricity cables. Dozens of people have been injured across the country, and the top official in the region around the port city of Calais has ordered the public to shelter in place for now. The stormy conditions will continue into the weekend. On Saturday, 6 regions in the northeast of the country are expecting more snow and ice with yellow weather warnings in place.
From Feature Story News in New York, I'm Mitch McCann, and that was the Week in Review.
The American Psychiatric Association has issued an alarming study warning that the nation's used car salesmen are going completely insane and in some extreme cases practically giving cars away. The APA traces the outbreak of widespread hysteria to an apparent overstock of high-quality late-model cars begging to be driven off the lot today. Some severe symptoms include delusions, manic exuberance, and a psychotic commitment to offer the lowest prices guaranteed. Victims' families are joining together to raise awareness of this serious psychological epidemic.
The authorities found out how unbelievably low his prices were. They'd lock him up and throw away the key.
You are not alone. Over half of America's used car salesmen are currently going bonkers.
Car dealers suffering from this condition are prone to project their own disorders onto others. According to Mad Max, the Car Czar's website, you're out of your mind if you're not taking advantage of these low prices.
This is the Onion News Network.
Got Telegram? You can follow our channel there and discuss show prep with other listeners at telegram.freetalklive.com. Free Talk Live.
It's Free Talk Live, talk radio that you control, and 603-283-6160. That's 603-283-6160 is the phone number here. And you can call that number to bring up whatever's on your mind. There's no special topic you have to keep in mind. There's nothing like that. You can bring up whatever's on your mind, and you can get on the air with us. And 603-283-6160 is that number. With you on Free Talk Live, you've got me, Bonnie,
Riley O'Bill,
and Richie Rich.
And
are we doing it live, Riley?
We are doing it live.
All right.
We are doing this live.
Freak it.
Free it, we'll talk it live.
There you go.
That's what it was.
That's the catchphrase.
Free it, we'll talk it live.
Gotta get those in, man.
But,
that's the brand.
So there's all kinds of different things to talk about. I guess war is going to start happening in Iran. All I heard about that, it's like I said it halfway there, way halfway American. I'm going to stick American. That's what I'll do. Iran.
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 From Tehran, Iran.
And I do the same thing with
Iraq.
Pecan.
Oh.
Which is a mixture of pecan and pecan. But I guess I'm going to choose pecan because my grandma said she says it that way.
Yeah. I worked with a chick here in New Hampshire, and I feel like the rest of the world says it pecan. Right? She's like, you guys got to know it's pecan. I'm like, that's not even close.
Yeah, that's mixing it in the opposite way I did. That's funny.
Everyone says it pecan. I'm like, maybe everyone in your family.
I've actually never
That's
heard that
not
at
even
all.
one of the two major ones.
Yeah, I never even considered that as an option for some reason. And I thought about this. I was like, I'm a military brat. I don't have a way to say it. But anyways.
What kind of Coke do you want? Sprite?
No, okay, yeah. I would never say that. I say soda. I don't even understand pop. I'm like, oh, when somebody says pop, it's like,
well, because it used to be soda pop, and half the country took soda, and half the country took pop.
Oh,
and half the country went like, you know what? We really like Coke, so we'll just call everything a Coke.
So weird. That's the weirdest one. I don't understand how you get that. Like, I understand, like, Kleenex is Kleenex. Absolutely. Yeah. I just say,
that's also a brand. Yeah, it's exactly. Kleenex brand facial tissue.
But for some reason, that one makes a lot of sense, but Coke does not. I feel like because Coke, it's not. It seems that Kleenex really took over the market in a way that Coke didn't. Like, there's always been Pepsi and Dr. Pepper and stuff too. Well, I guess Dr. Pepper got invented earlier.
Well, the good thing for Kleenex is they did not take over the market.
Oh.
Right? Otherwise, they wouldn't be able to call it Kleenex.
Why is that?
Because Kleenex brands that take over the market lose their brand.
Oh, okay.
Like that little thing that goes up and down your pants, the zipper.
Yeah.
That was a brand.
Zipper was?
Yeah, and then they lost it because like the YKK company makes zippers almost exclusively, but they lost the brand zipper because there's not enough competition.
It just became the word zipper.
Just became the word.
Sense.
Same with Velcro. Velcro is a brand, and they've hung on to it. They've hung on to the brand, even though you call it Velcro. They are insistent. We are Velcro. Everything else is hook and loop.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Hook and loop. That's so stupid.
That's what it is. Velcro brand hook and loop.
I'd be like, what are you talking about?
Right.
That's really funny. So my parents texted me something about like, oh, I think we're going to go to war with Iran. And I don't remember exactly what that was, like what they said. And I was just like, oh, well, we started reading a article on the show like last week. It wasn't you guys. It was me, Chris, Wade, and Angelo.
Okay.
And it was saying that it was basically alleging that Israel was going to try to get America tied into a war with Iran. And
that's not even news.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, Israel has been trying to drag the United States into war with Iran for God knows how long, because they've been talking about Iran since I was in college in 2006.
Before that, this goes back to like the 50s at the very minimum.
Really?
Yeah. That was like part of the 9/11 Commission report with all the blowback from those countries was overthrowing like the Shah of Iran in the 50s and installing a puppet leadership there back then.
I guess whoever wrote the 9/11 Commission report was aware that the American public wouldn't read all of it, so they're like, oh, we'll just talk about it and put it out in the open and no one's going to care or read it. They'll just believe the propaganda that we spew at them.
No, this is a long conflict.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have known when it started, but I feel like it's definitely been my whole entire life. And something somebody pointed out was they were bringing up like they had like some kind of receipts. I don't know if it was articles or what, where like so many different times, or if they were just simply quoting years, that Israel was like, we suspect Iran of having nuclear weapons. Now we suspect them of working on now. It's
been the entire lifetime of multiple generations of Americans. Yeah.
Well, we do have a caller on line, so I'm going to go to the phones. 603-283-6160 is the phone number, and we have Tom from New Hampshire on the line. Tom, you're on Free Talk Live. What's on your mind?
Well, I sent an email to the Venezuelan mission to the United Nations in Geneva, and I said,
I got return to sender. Bad address.
What you got to do is get all the countries you can to express their outrage on the attack on Caracas. A lot of people got killed there, And,
wow.
If a police officer was killed in that raid, then that makes Donald Trump a cop killer, of course.
Oh.
But what they got to do is get all the countries they can to issue an arrest warrant for Donald John Trump. But tell them about it. I mean, and then, and if Air Force One is not welcome to fly over our country, and therefore, if Air Force One trespasses in our airspace, our military will force it down and arrest Donald John Trump for extradition to Venezuela. And you get, if Air Force One can't fly over certain countries, that expresses, it starts to put expresses some consequential outrage. I mean, actual consequences when they're planning a trip. And this happened, by the way, where the Immigration and Customs Enforcement were kidnapping all these people off the streets of the United States and forcing them onto military aircraft to send them to Guatemala, but they couldn't fly over Mexico. Okay, but Air Force One is a military aircraft. Civilian aircraft can fly over Mexico, yeah, but Air Force One, by definition, the Air Force is military. So Air Force One, any country has a sovereign right to say Air Force One cannot fly over this country. And by saying that, they're not going to war with the United States. If you're saying you can't fly, we can put out an arrest warrant for you, but you're not going to show up anyway because there's an arrest warrant for you. So
that defeats the purpose of the arrest warrant.
Because
they should do it surreptitiously, have them land, and then arrest them. You got to trick people who want to be arrested into actually showing up to get arrested. People don't like volunteer that stuff when they're trying to get away with it.
No, as soon as they arrest Trump, I think that America's going to say it's an act of war. I'm not saying that it's right or anything like that. I'm just saying I'm 100% sure that's what would happen.
No, they have a hostage.
And they would be, hypocrites because they did it to Venezuela's president, but I'm just saying. I think that's what they would do.
They would, if it actually wound up happening, they wouldn't defy the order and test that. Simply saying the second part, they're simply saying, no, Air Force One cannot fly through our country. They wouldn't just go ahead and do it anyway. They
arrest Donald Trump. They say, like, we've got him, right? Like any sort of threat or actual aggression will be met with like summary execution of your president, like your move, America, right?
Yeah,
they let him go because he's just the annoying orange.
Fine, I'm fine with that too. Then America has new elections, right? You get to pick J.D. Vance or Gavin Newsom or AOC.
Awesome.
Now
we'll see what happens.
What happens if Donald Trump strokes out on a cheeseburger and croaks, and so J.D. Vance accedes to the presidency, and then he croaks, and so the Speaker of the House becomes president? Well, but then they have midterm elections. Does he cease to be president when the next Speaker of the House starts in 2027?
That would be an interesting...
Mike Johnson. I didn't even think about who's the Speaker of the House this time.
Because it never gets that far, man.
No, I always knew like Hillary Clinton, Condoleezza Rice. I always knew them before. Okay. And Nancy Pelosi, right? Oh wait, no, it was Hillary for Obama, right?
Nancy Pelosi was Speaker of the House, but it's just a matter of expressing solidarity. Yeah.
Did he say? Oh, did you say discussing? Did you say a bad word?
Expressing solidarity with Venezuela by simply saying Donald Trump is wanted here. If he'll get arrested if he shows up. Let's say some countries' bureaucrats are going to have a meeting in Canada, and Donald Trump, you better not show up because we would have to arrest you for extradition to Venezuela because we have an extradition treaty with Venezuela. Something like that.
All well and good, but if you're talking about the level of international relations. Right, the United States kidnapped a president of a foreign country.
Yeah.
So, I would say on the international level, when dealing with America, all bets are off, and the American diplomacy is owed like no respect, no deference, right? Like, if kidnapping a president is on the table and that's how America wants to behave at that level, well then, good for the goose, good for the gander. Not that Venezuela all of a sudden has to go through official channels. The United States didn't go through official channels. They just invaded and kidnapped the president.
That's correct. And that's what countries can express their outrage openly by saying Air Force One cannot fly through our country. And
but why do that?
They're just not going to
just launch a surface to air when Air Force One does. Whoops.
That would be considered aggression against.
So is kidnapping a president.
Yeah. So
at that level,
you're not going to get very many countries going to war against the United States. But let me point out another parallel here with, those who forget the lessons of history are doomed to repeat them. That Hitler demanded the Sudetenland. He says that we need that belongs to Germany, and it's got a lot of people was part of Germany or whatever. So they got to give that land to us, or we're going to war. And what is Trump doing with Greenland?
He's issuing threats to take it over by force if necessary.
Is he doing that again?
Yeah.
Right now?
Yeah.
I hadn't heard about all that, honestly.
He's got like his special forces in meetings trying to plot a plan to take Greenland.
The difference between Trump and Hitler is that Trump is president of a more powerful world superpower, and Hitler was the leader of a country that wasn't a world superpower. So I think Trump is going to have more military might behind him.
I thought you were going to say hair color and facial hair.
Well, I wouldn't know about that.
Okay.
Now, if the United States has nuclear missiles capable of reaching Cuba, then how come Cuba can't have nuclear missiles capable of reaching the United States?
Because once they start to get them, the United States will intervene.
Yeah, but that happened during the Cuban Missile Crisis. But talk about the hypocrisy, though. You know, the United States has nuclear missiles that can reach Cuba. So, but they whine like crybabies when the Soviet Union was shipping nuclear missiles to Cuba that were capable of reaching the United States.
That's my point. It should be all bets are off when dealing with the United States, because they're the diplomats, the presidents, you know, that level of government, the government is a hostile nation threatening other sovereign countries, if you believe in that sort of thing.
Yeah, and they're going to tell the Canadians, you better hand over, arrest and hand over all these tax evaders that they consider them. Canadian citizens living in Canada who work in Canada are somehow supposed to pay U.S. federal income tax because, but you were born in the United States and you moved to Canada, or your family went back to Canada, but the stork came early while your family was on vacation or passing through the United States. So you're a United States citizen, so you have to pay U.S. federal income taxes. There's a lot of hostility in Canada, but the Canadian government handed over all the bank records under the Foreign Account Tax Compliance Act because, they passed Canadian legislation to do that because otherwise their banks would be cut off from the United States. So what? I mean, they can have their own banks.
Yeah.
You know? And
I think it's less about the United States when it comes to banks, and it's more about like the IMF and all these people that won't do business with them and give them loans and stuff. It's like, and if you do what they don't want you to do, like the IMF will just come to you and be like, you're not going to do that to America because we have plans, and they'll just be like, okay, then we can't do it.
Donald Trump acts with hubris because he thinks that the American market is sufficient enough to maintain that level of hubris. But if like countries stop sending stuff here and, you know, stop accepting exports to their countries from the United States based on whatever tariffs or whatever set, like if they just went, nope, we'll find a new market, you know, we'll go back into China or India, which are the largest markets, or Europe, which, you know, are probably the wealthiest nations, right, and just accept a lower level of profit, perhaps, right, to isolate the United States would collapse on itself.
I'm not saying that I'm like, America is like so strong. I'm simply saying I think that they have people backing them that are not just like people we know about, not people that are like, I think America is being propped up by people that have a lot more power than like any president in the world.
The deep state.
Exactly, like
the Rothschilds.
IMF people, Rothschilds, literally.
The Bilderbergs.
I don't think it'd be allowed to continue on this way for so long if it wasn't the case.
When people travel from one country to another, let's say you're a Canadian and you're going on vacation to the Dominican Republic, you don't bring Canadian money, you exchange it for U.S. money and then go to the Dominican Republic and exchange that for pesos or spend U.S. dollars for the simple reason that it's more economical because the bankers charge, they buy U.S. dollars at one rate and they sell it for maybe 1% higher, 0.5% higher if they're doing a lot of business in U.S. dollars. But if it's Canadian dollars, then the spread would be like 5 or 10%. And so people find it more economical to exchange their money for U.S. dollars and then bring that across to the other country and spend that. That has to stop. All they got to do is reduce the spread that the bankers are charging between the buy and sell rates so that you're getting
if there's no interference and that's just a spread, like that's a market phenomenon, right? If the Dominican Republic doesn't have a lot of Canadian interest, then there's no reason for those businesses to like sit on that amount of Canadian dollars unless they're getting that spread, right? That's the cost. That's the cost of Canadian dollars in the Dominican.
Well, then they can buy stuff from anybody that has to settle accounts with Canada would be able to use Canadian dollars.
But I'm suggesting that they do a lot less business with Canadians than they would with Americans or with other countries accepting dollars versus Canadian dollars.
But this is also a barrier to investment, because who's going to invest all this money in Dominican Republic pesos if they're not going to get? I mean, okay, it goes up.
Well, tourists, because they're going to spend the money while they're there.
Yeah, tourists, but investors aren't going to buy investments denominated in Dominican pesos, because the spread between the buy and sell rate, even if the peso remains stable, the spread between buy and sell would be so much more. They would lose all of their profit just between the buy and sell rates if they're not doing U.S. dollars.
Well, leave that to the entrepreneurs. They can use whatever they want, right? If there's no way to make a profit, then yeah, you're right. But if there's a way to make a profit and use that sort of arbitrage to make the profit in the exchange and on the product or service, then you'll see it.
I suspect that this is where crypto will come in handy, because you buy the crypto with your Canadian dollars and go to the Dominican Republic, but you'd have to already know how you're going to sell it.
Don't sell it. Just have if the Dominican is smart, they'll just start accepting it.
I'm a little lost. I don't understand what this has to do with things. Okay, I honestly, I had to keep Googling a few things for myself to continue on the show, and I might have missed something, but I'm like, what does this have to do with Dominican? What does this have to do with the Venezuela thing he called in about?
He changed the subject.
Oh, okay. All right. I'm just wondering. I thought it had something to do with it. Do you see what I mean, Tom? I thought you were saying and then somehow Dominican has a lot of power. We can. Oh, sorry, Tom. I think you insulted him.
It's okay.
Well, I wasn't trying to insult him. I just genuinely got really lost there. I thought he was trying to say somehow the Dominican Republic should, step up to the United States and they can help. Okay. I honestly don't think any country is going to take his advice and decide to start. I'm not saying start a war.
Tom
but,
from New Hampshire emails the consulate in Venezuela to tell them what to do about international relations. We'll put that on the top of the docket for discussion at the next meeting, Tom.
The UN.
Yeah.
I can imagine that would probably not happen.
Well, I found something where Trump was talking about Greenland, but I didn't want to just talk about that, so I wasn't really going to look for that specifically, but this from mirror.co.uk. Donald Trump's unhinged latest. And actually, the Drudge Report headline was better.
Yes.
It said, Trump's unhinged behavior in the last 24 hours.
Yep.
Most unhinged behavior in the last 24 hours. And I was just like, oh, that's a pretty good headline. So it says, Donald Trump and J.D. Vance have continued to lie about the Minnesota shooting and smear the character of victim Renee Good last night. And I keep hearing that they lied, and I want to know how, because I didn't watch the video.
Have you watched the video?
No.
Oh, you should watch the video.
The thing is, I honestly kind of avoided it, hoping it would go away, and it does seem like it's going to be a big thing.
No, because depending on the angle of the video, people are taking sides.
Mm-hmm.
What the conservatives are watching the cop footage, and the radical left is watching the cam footage, the civilian cam footage, and both sides are going, see, you're wrong.
Yeah, that makes sense. This is what I've kind of heard so far. I've heard the right, or at least Trump and Vance are saying,
Trump tards.
Well, that woman tried to hit him, the cop, with her car, so what does she think is going to happen? And then from the left, I heard that's a lie, but not anything about why it's a lie, to be honest.
Because she didn't try to hit him with his car. That's why it's a lie.
I do want to watch the videos now. It's just when I say I hoped it would go away, it's just I think that they may make things big deals. I feel like if you're just tuning in for the first time, you probably think I'm mean or something. I don't mean to mean. I think it sucks that a woman got killed by a cop. I think that I shouldn't be in cities doing things like this in such big numbers, and people have every right to organize against them.
Well, yeah, being a libertarian show, right? Yeah. It's a big deal because immigration and customs enforcement executed an American citizen.
Yeah, and it's they also shouldn't be masked. We should know exactly who this person is.
And they doxed him. They doxed him. Nope, his name's I can't think.
TikTok
Jonathan something.
Okay, I bet it'll come up in this article, hopefully. So that's what I'm saying. Now I want to learn more, but honestly, it's just that when something like this happens, they don't always use it. It doesn't always go on to be the next big thing. And it's not like I'm saying that makes it not important. There's lots of times where I choose a thing of the millions and billions of things that go on in the day that isn't a big thing that lots of people aren't talking about, and I make a big deal of it. I knew they were going to Venezuela, talked about it for 2 months, or at least a month.
I don't know what the ethnic breakdown in Minnesota is, but those folks love to riot. So here we go again.
I think it's changed a lot in 20 years.
Okay.
603-283-6160.
Just give them an excuse.
Is the number here, 603-283-6160. And yeah, they do like to riot.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is, like if it has anything to do with ethnicity. But it seems like there's some weird stuff going on there. I actually heard a lot about the governor recently. We should talk about it too. More Free Talk Live coming up, 603-283-6160. Don't go anywhere.
My name is Angel Rach. I'm a mother of 2 teenage children, and I fought all the way to the Supreme Court for the right to use the medicine that saved my life. I've been permanently disabled for 10 years, with an inoperable brain tumor, wasting syndrome, and several other serious conditions. For 4 years, I was in a wheelchair, in so much pain, I couldn't even hug my kids. The hardest part was looking in their eyes and seeing how much they were suffering because of my medical condition. The medicine that gave me my life back and gave my kids their mom back was cannabis, also known as medical marijuana. With medical marijuana, I can walk, maintain my weight, and I can be a mom. Without it, my doctors believe that I would die. To learn more about medical marijuana, contact Marijuana Policy Project at 1-877-JOIN-MPP or on the web at mpp.org.
From Feature Story News in New York, I'm Mitch McCann with the Week in Review. In a stunning late-night operation, the United States captured Venezuela's president, Nicolas Maduro, and his wife in Caracas. The pair were then transported to New York City, where they appeared in court facing a series of narco-terrorism-related charges. President Donald Trump said that the raid was part of large-scale strikes against Venezuela. Mary Trini Mena was in Caracas as it all unfolded.
We heard airplanes and helicopters passing through across the city of Caracas, flying over. What we know so far is the information provided by the Venezuelan government. They say the attacks took place in 3 different states of Venezuela: La Guaira, Aragua, and Miranda. Miranda is located in the metropolitan area of Caracas. I heard the blast earlier in the morning. Right now, the city remains in calm, with authorities calling to the citizens to preserve the sovereignty of the country and remain in calm. The government says they will declare a state of emergency. And then we hear about the information provided by Donald Trump saying they capture the leader of Venezuela, Nicolás Maduro, and his wife, Cilia Flores.
A U.S. immigration agent shot dead a female driver in Minneapolis this week, kicking off a political firestorm. Video of the shooting sparked further protests in a city where around 2,000 federal officers have been deployed. Nick Harper reports.
The shooting in Minneapolis has become the latest political touchstone, with the left and the right viewing the videos in contradictory ways. Law enforcement officials say that the agent was acting in self-defense, that the woman was trying to run him over. They called the driver a violent rioter, with Donald Trump describing her as violently, willfully and viciously attacking the ICE officer. Those on the left and protesters say this was murder, with Minnesota's governor, Tim Walz, saying it was a consequence of the federal government trying to generate fear, headlines and conflict.
It was reported this week that a complete internet shutdown was imposed in Iran after mass protests against the country's clerical leadership. What started as demonstrations against Iran's struggling economy has now become a wider movement, with agitations now being reported in all 31 provinces of the country. Ishan Garg tells us more.
Videos verified by local media show large crowds of anti-government protesters marching through Iran's capital Tehran's street on Thursday, some calling for the removal of Iran's supreme leader, Ayatollah Ali Khamenei. Though demonstrations started in Iran in late December against rising inflation, Thursday's protests are believed to be triggered by calls from Iranian Crown Prince and a key opposition leader, Reza Pahlavi.
From Feature Story News in New York, I'm Mitch McCann, and that was the Week in Review.
Our Matrix server is about as free as internet chat can be. Join the existing rooms or create your own at chat.freetalklive.com.
It's Free Talk Live, talk radio that you control, and 603-283-6160 is the phone number. That's 603-283-6160. 613-283-6160. You can call in like Tom did last segment, and you can bring up whatever's on your mind. And you can change the subject. It doesn't matter. You can disagree with us. It really does not matter, because that's the point of Free Talk Live. 603-283-6160. And I'd like to thank Ellie123KY for being an amplifier with us here at Free Talk Live. That means that Ellie went to amps.freetalklive.com and signed up to support the show. AMPS stands for Advertise, Market, Promote, and Support. Thanks to Ellie and everyone who supports us. Again, that's amps.freetalklive.com if you'd like to check out the perks and benefits of becoming an amplifier. With you on Free Talk Live tonight, you've got me, Bonnie.
Riley O'Bill.
And Richie Rich.
And Rich, you had something you wanted to tell us.
Well, I have to follow up on old story here. It's time once again to call out Ricky from the Commonwealth for being dishonorable, disreputable, and all sorts of mean, nasty, ugly things.
I was like, those are fighting words.
They're absolutely fighting words, because he is now even more in debt to me than he was 6 months ago. The last time.
Dishonor on his family?
Sure. The whole from the Commonwealth clan.
Oh my God.
I don't know what his last name is. So here's the deal. Several years ago at this point, me and Ricky had a bet.
Mm-hmm.
And it was
7? Wait, what did you say?
I said several.
Probably like 2 years ago now, I think.
Yeah, about somewhere in the neighborhood of 2 years ago.
Right.
Like this is a long time thing. So when he inevitably comes on the phone and says, "Oh, I've been having trouble figuring this out," you know that he has 2 years, approximately 2 years
to ask for help,
and get this squared away. So the bet from several years ago was by July of 2025, the national average for gas meets or exceeds $10 a gallon. He lost that bet.
I'm going to look up the average while you talk.
Okay. He lost that bet in July of last year of 2025. And when I called him out then for welching on the bet, he called in and said, "I'll have this figured out and I'll pay you on Tuesday." And I did not get paid that following Tuesday. I haven't even heard him on the show since that time to figure this out.
Disreputable.
Okay, dishonorable.
He's calling in. Do you want me to put him on? Or
let me finish this, and then you can put him on for him to like complain. And
it says that as of January 2026, the average is hovering at around $2.80. So,
which is probably down from July of 2025.
Oh yeah, my bad.
Right, but whatever. And so here's the end of 2020, and he knew he was going to lose this one. The end of 2025, the value of the U.S. dollar equals $0. Well, I put gas on my way over here at $2.44. So not only is gas not $10, the value of the dollar is not $0.
In July 2025, it was $3.13 average in the United States. So
way off the mark of 10, and slightly above.
$6.85 or something.
Right. And the only other bet that he's going to lose by the end of, and actually he might not lose this one at this point. Things are getting hairy. I'm a little more nervous about this third part of the bet. The end of the first quarter of 2026. So he's got like 3 months for this one, and then I'll call him out again for not paying his debts. The United States will be a third world country. And at the beginning of 2025, he was already supposed to have put his bet into escrow to make sure that he was not going to welch or cancel or try to get out of this bets. That again would have been like just a nice call in, but he called in for over a month, every week for a month to negotiate this thing. So I will continue to call him out for not paying his debts, not paying his bet debts. Beginning in 2025, he was supposed to put 15 dash into escrow, entrusted to Peakless Mountaineer, who's no longer with the show, I guess. And we renegotiated a little bit, and Riley agreed to be our escrow guy.
Sure.
Right. So somehow, some way, he's supposed to have 15 dash in Riley's hands to disperse, as each of these bets come up. But he has not even done that. So he now owes me 10 dash for losing 2 of the 3 bets so far. He's paid 0, made all the excuses in the world, and has brought dishonor upon his family. The entire from the Commonwealth clan.
So to the phones, we have the ignoble, contemptible, and reprehensible, corrupt, and treacherous Ricky from the Commonwealth. What do you have to say for yourself, Ricky?
Good evening.
I'm just messing
Brother
with you.
Riley.
I just
I'm
thought
not.
it was fun. He's not. I
Good
feel
evening,
bad
Richie.
saying
Ricky.
it.
Good evening.
The
Good
shameless, reprehensible,
Fine
unseemly,
words,
unworthy,
I must say.
shady, crooked Ricky from the Commonwealth.
All of those things, but without the satire.
No, I've been having a lot of trouble with Coinbase. I got the money. Your money's good, Richie. Don't worry about it.
And that's why he's worried about it.
I
think
worry
he's worried
because
it's been a year.
if you have the money, part of that money should have been dispersed to me 6 months ago. And part of that money should have been dispersed to me 11 days ago.
It was supposed to be kept in escrow anyways until the end of the bet.
Well, not necessarily until the end of the full bet, right? Like you lost part of the bet.
That was the deal, Richie. That was the idea with Peakless.
Okay. Well, then you got three.
So I was figuring I was carrying through.
Well, no,
I mean,
because
I
it was
got
supposed
it.
to be put in escrow at the
Wait,
beginning
so
of
does
2025.
Peakless have it and no one has
No,
talked to him or
no,
something?
no, no.
All right, just making sure.
Ricky has made no attempt to give anybody any of this money that is already a year behind the deadline for having it put into escrow.
I just think, didn't Ricky make this bet?
Yes.
Like, didn't he?
He
started
offered
this?
it. He offered it, and his terms were immeasurable at the
Yeah,
time.
at the time, I remember that.
So we spent a month of his calls negotiating this bet. I'm the only one that took it. I'm not sure why Peakless and Captain and Steve Classic all didn't also accept the bet and get some money as well. But, you know, I accepted the bet. We negotiated it. It was a gentleman's agreement. Obviously, one of us is still a gentleman and one of us is a scoundrel.
Maybe they thought the low-down,
Well, wait
crooked,
a minute. It's
knavish,
not like I
scurvy
welched on
Ricky
the bet,
wouldn't hold up
Ricky.
his end.
You absolutely welched on the bet. You've missed every deadline so
How
far.
could
And
I? The bet didn't close yet.
because part of
I've
the
been
bet
having trouble with Coinbase.
because
but I
part of the
think I
bet
got
was
it
at the
right
beginning
now.
of 2025, the 15 dash was supposed to be put into escrow. You haven't even put
Yeah,
you haven't even funded the bet account yet. And you've lost 10 of it already. The whole point
I got a
of the whole
question for
point
you,
of putting it in
seriously.
escrow before the bets actually closed was so that you couldn't then back out of it at the time. Right? You couldn't
But I
say,
got a
"Well,
question for
blah 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 blah," like you are
Wait a
now,
minute.
because the money was already in escrow.
But I got a question for it. What's this I heard because I was calling in? What's this I heard you saying that you're getting nervous about the third leg of the bet? I'm not really nervous. Are you nervous?
Well, if the United States goes to war with has a hot war with like 5 different countries, that's going
What's
to
the
wreck the
deadline again
place.
for that one?
First quarter 2026.
And that's dollar goes to zero?
No, dollar goes to zero. He already lost. That was end of 2025.
That's just go to war.
Well, it's not go to war. Is a third world country.
Oh, okay.
But you know, if you have a hot war with like 5 different countries and they bomb the United States into Bolivian, right? you could foresee some banana republic-y stuff along with the collapsed economy and people on the streets and another depression and a whole bunch of mean, nasty, ugly things there too. So I don't think it's gonna. I'm still confident I'll win that bet. But based on the policies of President Trump currently, with his propensity for violent conflict with peaceful nations like Greenland,
Yeah, it's so
right?
weird.
Like he'll have the entire European Union on our butts, and if he collapses trade, right, that's like a hallmark of a third world country is they don't have anything to trade, and if they're insulated that way, then who knows? Will it collapse in 3 months? Probably not, but it's
And then what you'll
close.
owe Ricky will be worth so much more.
No, because I only owe him 5. I'll still come out 5 dash ahead, right? There's no way I'm losing everything. It's just how much does Ricky have to owe me?
Well, Richie, just hang in there. I was having trouble with Coinbase. I think I got it.
Okay.
So just hang in there. I'm good for it. You don't have to worry.
That's why he's worried.
And it'll be good.
Yeah, I will worry until the money's in my pocket, and I will call you out until such time as the money's in escrow, as it was supposed to be a year
What, you
ago.
gonna call me out every week, Richie?
Yeah.
You have no idea the depths of pettiness I am willing to go through.
Oh man.
You know what? I do believe it, Richie, because I've known you for long enough. You can be very petty. I'm good for it. Relax.
I will share one story with you because I think it's hilarious and also illustrates the depth of my pettiness. I bought some cooking pans on Kickstarter, and the company is from Australia, and I'm not going to say the name because that was part of the agreement that we ended up with. But the company was garbage. The customer service was garbage. and they canceled my order because I left a negative review for it. And so I never got the pans. Just reading up afterwards, they canceled my order. Well, you can't do that. Like I wanted the pans, like ship the pans type of a thing. And, they refused. And so every time they launched a new Kickstarter, I pledged $1. And the $1 meant that I could leave messages on the Kickstarter. So I just left my negative reviews on the Kickstarter. Like, this company's garbage. They're disreputable, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, scrupulous, all those things that whole thesaurus of list that you left. And they would launch another Kickstarter like a month later, and I would pay my $1 and leave it all.
Oh, wow.
And eventually they completed my order, which was like $350 worth of pans, cooking pans, right? That's what it was. For like the $10 that I spent on the $1 donations, right? Because they'd already refunded my money. And I said, and the agreement we had was fulfill my order, and I won't do this anymore. Oh, right? Nice. I won't trash talk you on social media. I won't participate in any more of your Kickstarters. Just fulfill my original order, and we peacefully go about our ways. But I did this for like a year before they finally caved and shipped my order.
That's crazy.
Yeah,
that is crazy.
Every time because every time they launched a new Kickstarter, I just paid my $1. Mm-hmm. So every time they launched a and I set up an email account, and I said, if you want the full story, email me, and I'll give you the full breakdown of how unscrupulous this company is. And people would email me, and I'd send it back out. I don't know how much I cost them, in sales. I can't measure that, right? But I know that they got tired of me after a year and fulfilled my order as they should have from the beginning.
Yeah.
Because my complaint...
Crazy that they could have the whole time.
Because my complaint wasn't about the quality of the product. It was about the trash level of service. And there's still a Facebook group about how trash their service is. And people show up all the time going, can you believe the service is trash? No.
So other people think that too.
Someone saw one of my posts somewhere else and invited me to the group. Like, you have no idea how bad this company is, man.
Wow.
And I went, oh, look at this. Well, I will be the petty guy on behalf of all of you. And that was also part of the agreement. Like, if I get wind they're doing this to somebody else, I will return, and let people know. And I have not gotten wind of any of their nefarious acts.
Well, Ricky, if you want, Turd Ferguson has been wanting to talk to you, and I now know how to get you both on the phone at the same time if you'd like to talk to Turd Ferguson.
Yeah, I'd like to know what his personal issue is, if he has one. I don't know if he does. You never know with him.
It's because you're nefarious, scoundrel, unscrupulous.
Corrupt, treacherous.
There you go.
Okay, so the creepy Turd Ferguson is on the line with you.
I can agree with that.
Well, I'm not creepy, but Ricky... Well,
that was Miss Bonnie's words, Brother Ferguson, not mine. I was just repeating it.
Well, look, Ricky, my issue with you, why I'm irritated with you, is that you talk like you're General Robert E. Lee, and that you think you're General Robert E. Lee of the Confederate Army, and I think that's very annoying. And not only that, but you call Pennsylvania the Commonwealth, which makes me sick. I hate that. I can't stand it.
Don't you live in the Commonwealth, Turd?
Well, the fact of the matter
I live
is...
in Shrewsbury, Pennsylvania.
Wait,
the fact of the matter is, it is the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania. Read our Constitution.
The whole from the Commonwealth.
Governor.
Just call it Pennsylvania. Why do you got to call it the Commonwealth?
As far as things go, I wear that battle flag because that's my statement against the U.S. government.
The Confederate battle flag. Pennsylvania fought for the North, and Ricky wears a Confederate battle flag to represent Pennsylvania.
Ricky, do you know what year
half of them? That's not entirely true. Half of Pennsylvania was for the Confederacy, so I'm with that half. And my
no, that's half of. No, it wasn't. What are you talking about? Half of Maryland.
Look up history, Brother Ferguson. I know what I'm talking about.
I think that they started off fighting for the South, and then they got
but half of them
forced
were
into fighting for the North. But they mostly fought for the North.
Half of them.
Check the wiki. It's a northern country.
The entire East Coast was sympathizers of the Confederate Army. That doesn't mean they were Confederate states. New York was sympathetic to the Confederate Army.
I didn't say they were, but I do have a pet peeve with you, Brother Ferguson. I never complain. Every call that you make, at least 9 out of 10 are the same phone call. Do you realize that?
In what sense? Go ahead and tell me.
Because you're always lusting after women. Like, how old are you?
What's wrong with lusting after women?
I know, but it's not really a thing most people call in about. I gotta agree with Ricky on this one. It's something not many people call in about, and
it's Free Talk Live.
And it's something that
it's allowed.
It does happen in a lot of calls. So his point was that all of his calls are the same. So to his point, I mean, that's a pretty good point.
I mean, we take Sarah's calls on a regular basis, and it's always about speed cams.
Homosexual point.
Well, I don't know what to say to that. And
I was
this
wrong.
This comes right down to what I'm saying with a low-class individual like yourself. You wish you had a radio voice like me.
I'm not low class. What are you talking about? I live in
You are a very low-class person. Do you listen to your own phone calls?
Why would I listen to my own phone calls? I'm
Maybe
the one that
should.
Because you got a sexy voice, man, and play that back as often as you can.
Now, I have a radio voice. I don't know what you got.
I was actually wrong.
Your voice sounds like General Robert E. Lee, which you
I don't know about
make.
that.
It doesn't even actually sound like General Robert E. Lee. You just make it. You just try to do that because you think it's funny.
Considering there's no recordings of
really
Robert E. Lee, how would you know?
What?
Considering there's no audio recordings of Robert E. Lee, how would you know what he sounds like?
Because Hollywood has clearly done its research. Because everyone that plays Robert E. Lee sounds the same.
The dramatization's on the History Channel.
Joker Ferguson. That's what we got here.
Well,
because that's worse than Turd?
He was actually right, to be honest. Turd was actually right that he must be thinking of Maryland. I think I was thinking of Maryland. Pennsylvania just mostly fought for the North, but Maryland, was like I was saying.
Completely. It was completely.
No, I said that there were people that went to go join the South and the government of Pennsylvania was probably always Union. Let's say that. There were people that were in Pennsylvania that were like, no, we're going to fight for the South. Maybe they had to leave to go do it. See what I'm saying?
Of course they did.
But yeah.
In November, wait a minute, Miss Bonnie, look this up. In November 1863, Pennsylvania came very close to joining the Confederacy. Look
but
it
that
up.
wasn't your first claim.
But even if they did, if that's true,
half the people here were sympathizers.
Even if that's true, came very close means they didn't.
I mean, Google's AI says Pennsylvania did not come close to joining the Confederacy in 1863.
Here's the other problem with your theory, Ricky from the Commonwealth, is that
Ricky from the Commonwealth, no doubt.
The entire East Coast was sympathetic to the Confederate Army.
Well, that's not true.
It is true.
Okay, it doesn't matter what you mean by the coast. Like, what about New England?
I'll be honest with you. I never heard that one.
No, people, the Union states were loyal to the United States federal government, but they sympathized very much with slavery. A lot of them liked slavery, and a lot of them actually. Right. Yeah, and Maryland. Abraham Lincoln, probably one of the most brilliant presidents that we ever had, won the war by intentionally allowing Maryland to keep their slaves, even though he'd freed all the slaves in the South. He needed Maryland to win the war.
Yeah.
So in order to do that, he let Maryland keep the slaves to keep them into the Union. Pennsylvania was already a part of the Union, Ricky from the Commonwealth.
I think you're 100% right about this one.
Been part of the Union since they ratified, so I don't know what the hell you're talking about.
Well, when they decided to split, they could have easily joined the Confederacy, but did not.
Well, they came very close, Richie.
Close only counts in horseshoes and hand grenades, man.
No secessionist movement. Pennsylvania remained a vital Union state, providing troops and resources, with its government and populace overwhelmingly loyal to the Union cause after Gettysburg.
Which is why Ricky flies the battle flag of the Confederacy in a northern state, Pennsylvania.
You know why I run the battle flag on my back?
You've told us before, but yeah, go ahead.
It's my statement against the U.S. government, and I can't think of a better statement than the battle flag of North Virginia. What is your statement? What is your statement, Ferguson? What is your statement?
My statement is that the United States of America is collapsing, and if you care about your own life, and if you care about numero uno, then you should get the hell out of here while you have the chance.
That's pathetic. That's really pathetic.
I don't think that's your life statement.
You are pathetic.
Turd, because like you talk about how great Shrewsbury is and how you love your house and stuff. So it's not really correct that
Shrewsbury, Pennsylvania is amazing, but the United States of America is collapsing.
But you're not getting out, are you?
He's gone deeper into Shrewsbury. He's insulated.
Look, I'll happily talk about what my plans are for the
It's like
future.
a gated community within a gated community in a rich neighborhood.
Well, Ricky, do you want to stay on the line? Do you have more to say? Go ahead with your plan, Turd.
So I will probably end up splitting my time between Shrewsbury, Pennsylvania, and another country. As of right now, she'll remain nameless.
Hollywood.
I could tell you. Well, I'll be splitting some of my time there too. But between Hollywood and Shrewsbury, PA, and then there will be one and possibly even two other countries in the world that I'll be splitting my time. And I'll. Are
you going to have a different girlfriend in all of these locales?
Well, look, you're going to have to consult with Caleb Jones, the greatest free talk advertiser of all time, if you want to get into that. But I'll say that the countries are in Latin America, South America specifically, and Southeast Asia.
And have you checked the age of consent in these countries before you decide to use the Caleb Jones method?
Richie, it's me. Of course I checked the age of consent.
Okay.
I knew that. I wouldn't
5 years count on that. I've heard you be pretty creepy in the past phone calls.
I don't care.
And in some countries, he's allowed to be, so back off.
I don't care what you think about my taste in women, Ricky from the Commonwealth.
Well, your taste is you lust for everybody, but you know what? I don't hear you having a girlfriend.
How hot was Sydney Sweeney and Christie?
You never have talked about a girlfriend, and all the time I've heard you on the air.
Why would I have a girl? Ricky from the Commonwealth. Why buy the cow when you could get the milk for free?
Well, to his point, there was also a girl that you wouldn't go up to talk to. So like,
at the gym, I remember that.
What milk are we talking about?
Well, that was a different story because that was a different situation.
That was actual love.
Well, no, her
messes with your brain.
Because her boyfriend worked at the gym.
That comment,
and I like that
always
gym.
say low rent. No, that comment was definitely low rent, no doubt.
Low rent, trashy, ghetto.
The milk for free comment, and it wasn't very original either.
Yeah, shut up. It's low rent.
Low rent, trashy,
ghetto.
What part, Ricky from the Commonwealth, what part of PA do you
thesaurus
live
bookmarked?
Northeastern Pennsylvania.
So not even the southern part of the state flying the battle flag.
Does it touch Maryland up there?
No,
I don't think so.
It touches like New York up there.
Yeah. I live in the Poconos.
Oh, you live in the Poconos? Yeah. Well,
yeah.
That sounds ritzy.
Ricky.
Is that ritzy? Is that ritzier than Shrewsbury?
Actually, the Poconos are really nice.
I never even heard of Shrewsbury.
Retarded.
I wouldn't know. I never heard of Shrewsbury, but according to Ferguson, it's the greatest place in the world in Pennsylvania, so I'll take it.
If you could move to the Poconos, would you move from Shrewsbury?
It's not just me. Ricky, you can go onto the internet and type in, like, is Shrewsbury one of the best places to live in PA? And even Google's idiotic AI will agree with you if you type that in. And it's like
the only place in Pennsylvania I'll knock is Philadelphia. I act like it don't exist.
What about Pittsburgh?
You
know? Well, we agree on that.
Well, Pittsburgh doesn't exist, so there you have it.
What do you mean Pittsburgh doesn't exist?
There's no work in Pittsburgh. They lost all their, you want
to know why that happened? Because of the politicians that your generation voted for.
Or the losses. No, I know what it was. It was because of the backroom deals as far as steel goes, and they just gave it away.
Thank you for the calls, guys. Turd, Ferguson, and Ricky from the Commonwealth. 603-283-6160 is the number to get in on the conversation with us. 603-283-6160. More Free Talk Live coming up.
So the protection of life, liberty, and property is what the Free State Project is all about. But it's an effort to move 20,000 people who understand.
It's about demonstrating to the entire country
that, we can have a free market, a truly free market.
Making it just a freer, great place to live.
It's the world's largest voluntarist libertarian community, and it's only getting bigger.
That's amazing, to be able to move to a place where other people like passionately believe in being free and independent.
What the Free State Project is managing to do, though, is to put their money where their mouth is. It's physically getting up across the country and saying, let's go someplace and let's demonstrate the power of these ideas. There's a lot of kind of philosophy that surrounds liberty. There's a lot of thinking about it and talking about it. But here in New Hampshire, people are doing it.
101 Reasons Liberty Lives in New Hampshire, a documentary by Free State Project early movers. Watch it free at 101reasonsfilm.com. 101reasonsfilm.com. So you've signed the Shire Society Declaration and are planning your move to New Hampshire to be around more liberty-oriented people. Next, sign up for the Shire Society Forum at forum.shiresociety.com. There are a bunch of people there who are already in the Shire, and they want to meet you. If you're already in the Shire physically, you should also come by the forums. Remember, not everyone uses Facebook. New people are signing up for the Shire Society Forum every month, so drop in and say hello at forum.shiresociety.com. Tired of cancel culture? Sick of mega tech corporations holding an axe over your head? Join the LRN.FM Matrix chat server. It's self-hosted, so no one else can tell us what to do or say. Don't like the existing channels? You can make your own. You can even connect into some of our channels from other Matrix servers. It's federated. For the full LRN.FM Matrix experience, though, you should join our server via the step-by-step instructions at chat.lrn.fm. Chat.lrn.fm.
You're listening to the live edition of Free Talk Live. Hour number 2 is next after the news here on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
From Feature Story News in New York, I'm Mitch McCann with the Week in Review. In a stunning late-night operation, the United States captured Venezuela's president, Nicolas Maduro, and his wife in Caracas. The pair were then transported to New York City, where they appeared in court facing a series of narco-terrorism-related charges. President Donald Trump said that the raid was part of large-scale strikes against Venezuela. Mary Trini Mena was in Caracas as it all unfolded.
This morning, Venezuelans woke up with several blasts across the city. We heard airplanes and helicopters passing through across the city of Caracas, flying over. What we know so far is the information provided by the Venezuelan government. They say the attacks took place in 3 different states of Venezuela: La Guaira, Aragua, and Miranda. Miranda is located in the metropolitan area of Caracas. I heard the blast earlier in the morning. Right now, the city remains in calm, with authorities calling to the citizens to preserve the sovereignty of the country and remain in calm. The government says they will declare a state of emergency. And then we hear about the information provided by Donald Trump saying they capture the leader of Venezuela, Nicolás Maduro, and his wife, Cilia Flores.
A U.S. immigration agent shot dead a female driver in Minneapolis this week, kicking off a political firestorm. Video of the shooting sparked further protests in a city where around 2,000 federal officers have been deployed, Nick Harper reports.
The shooting in Minneapolis has become the latest political touchstone, with the left and the right viewing the videos in contradictory ways. Law enforcement officials say that the agent was acting in self-defense, that the woman was trying to run him over. They called the driver a violent rioter, with Donald Trump describing her as violently, willfully and viciously attacking the ICE officer. Those on the left and protesters say this was murder, with Minnesota's governor, Tim Walz, saying it was a consequence of the federal government trying to generate fear, headlines and conflict.
It was reported this week that a complete internet shutdown was imposed in Iran after mass protests against the country's clerical leadership. What started as demonstrations against Iran's struggling economy has now become a wider movement, with agitations now being reported in all 31 provinces of the country. Ishan Garg tells us more.
Videos verified by local media show large crowds of anti-government protesters marching through Iran's capital Tehran's street on Thursday, some calling for the removal of Iran's supreme leader, Ayatollah Ali Khamenei. Though demonstrations started in Iran in late December against rising inflation, Thursday's protests are believed to be triggered by calls from Iranian Crown Prince and a key opposition leader, Reza Pahlavi. Amnesty International says more than 20 people have died in the protests since December 31st, and concerns remain about further clashes between protesters and Iranian security forces.
The French foreign minister says he will work with European allies to create a plan should the United States follow through on its threats of taking control of Greenland. The Trump administration has renewed its interest in the semi-autonomous Danish territory, stating that it's needed for matters of national security. William Denslow reports from Brussels.
France's foreign minister says he's discussing the issue of Greenland during a meeting with German and Polish counterparts. Speaking on local radio, Jean-Noël Barrot said that France wants to take action, but to do so in coordination with European partners. This comes as US President Donald Trump says he's discussing a range of options to acquire Greenland, including the use of the military. Washington says it needs the territory to stave off an increased threat in the Arctic posed by Russia and China. Several European leaders have penned a joint statement this week saying that the region's security is a collective issue and that Greenland belongs to its people.
380,000 homes were left without power on Friday after Storm Goretti hit France. The north of the country was worst hit, with all train services in the region of Normandy cancelled. Ross Callan reports.
In Normandy, heavy rain is sweeping across the region and winds in excess of 200 kilometres an hour have brought down trees on railway lines and electricity cables. Dozens of people have been injured across the country, and the top official in the region around the port city of Calais has ordered the public to shelter in place for now. The stormy conditions will continue into the weekend. On Saturday, 6 regions in the northeast of the country are expecting more snow and ice with yellow weather warnings in place.
From Feature Story News in New York, I'm Mitch McCann, and that was the Week in Review.
Nothing you do or say will ever reach the lofty heights attained by the following news summary. This is the Onion Week in Review. Facing increased market pressure and a shrinking bottom line, media company Star Trove was forced to lay off dozens of unskilled bloggers this week. Sources confirmed that before being dismissed, many of the bloggers had been with the company for months, regularly performing menial tasks such as describing celebrity outfits and composing quizzes about Disney characters.
I mean, I'd been with this company for almost a year. It wasn't the most rewarding job, and I didn't have health insurance, but it paid the bills. I'm already 25 years old. I just don't know where to go from here.
In other news, a 6-day visit to a rural African village completely changes a woman's Facebook profile picture. A new dating website helps plus-size Jewish plane crash survivors find love. And a kid figures he'll go down the slide 36 more times and then call it a day.
This is the Onion News Network.
You can stick it to the man and big tech. Join our FTL social mastodon at social.freetalklive.com. Free Talk Live.
It's Free Talk Live, talk radio that you control, and 603-283-6160. That's 603-283-6160 is the phone number. Free Talk Live is brought to you by LibertyMinded.com. Official Free Talk Live gear like t-shirts and hoodies are available at LibertyMinded.com. Plus, you'll find a unique collection of cool and funny Liberty-oriented clothing at LibertyMinded.com. That's LibertyMinded.com. And with you on Free Talk Live, you've got me, Bonnie.
Riley O'Bill.
And Richie Rich.
And we still have a caller in the line, and I kept him on even though we already talked a little bit because he didn't get to talk about what he called in about. I put him on with his brother.
Brother from the Commonwealth.
So Turd Ferguson from the Commonwealth, you're on Free Talk Live. What's on your mind?
Turd Ferguson from Shrewsbury, PA. I don't even know what the Commonwealth is, quite frankly.
Oh, we just like messing with you, bro.
It's the taxes that you pay to keep Pennsylvania running. The wealth held in common.
I pay a lot of taxes. Let me tell you, Yeah, I mean, and trust me, I even pay inflation tax. I mean, not from printing money, but money velocity is just higher here in Shrewsbury because everybody comes here all the time. Everybody wants to live here. And then thank God all the people in the holidays actually left. And dude, and actually, you know, all the people that were here like for the holidays and stuff, I swear to God, for the month of December, gas prices went up like 20 cents. It was terrible. I hated it. And luckily they're back down now to what they were, but they're still high. And like, you know, I get
all those
it.
dirty
like,
immigrants from New York and Massachusetts.
No one looks at gas prices. Turd, you have to pay them anyway. Isn't that the consensus?
For the tax?
No, just gas.
Well, I mean,
gas
if you want to buy gas, you have to pay it. But
yeah, but you don't look at the price. You just have to pay it, and then you're like, whoa.
Well, sort of.
That seemed like a lot.
There are people that will
Sometimes.
like, you know, they'll take less trips if the price of gas is high, right? There'll be less cars on the road if the price of gas is high, because you know, like if you're just putting to go to work and back, sure, it's just a cost you got to deal with.
You just have to. Well, that's what I'm saying. Like,
Right.
It's like
But-
if you have
but-
to drive somewhere, you gotta pay it. So I don't.
But somebody might change their jobs to find something closer to home if they've got a long commute and gas prices are high, right?
Yeah.
They go like, well, I'm making 30,000 here, but I'm paying 5,000 in gas per year, or I can go make 28,000 here and have 2,000 in gas, right? Then I come out ahead. Like those are economic decisions that people will make.
Yeah, maybe then you start paying attention. But my dad's always like, "What's the gas prices up there, guys?" And me and Ellsworth are like, "I don't know," because it's just like you gotta pay it anyway. If I gotta drive somewhere, I have to pay for gas.
Yeah, I mean, you can check. I would narrow it down to like, where's the cheapest gas in your area, right? Because that'll save you over time as well.
Other reasons you like gas stations. Anyways, Turd, I feel like
For
you
the
have something else to
Slurpee
talk
machine.
about. Yeah, but like, there's one guy that owns a gas station here in Keene where he kicked a dog and killed it.
Okay.
So I don't go there. Things like that.
Was
I
it
know.
was it the owner or an employee or just
the
like
owner of Dinkies?
Okay.
Yeah. So it freaks me out. So I don't go there.
Yeah, well, I'm really bummed out anyway because my iPod's not working. I love my iPod. I don't know what's going on with it. I don't know. I can't figure it out. It's
Take
really
it to
making me mad.
refurbisher or something.
The thing was a refurbished model, and
what generation?
It's the best one. It's like the iPod 6.5 or something. It's got the Wolfson DAC in it. It's the best of the best.
There's a mod scene for that generation, and like I think the iPod 7.
I don't think you should do it though because it screws up everything. It screws up everything way worse than mine's screwed up right now. For some reason, okay, so like
I would look back into it because like the videos that I saw, it seemed like a pretty cool thing to do with your old tech.
Yeah, but it'll brick your iPod if it messes
No,
up.
it doesn't.
No, yes, it does. I know the exact mod that you're talking about.
What color do you have? I like the red one.
I have the clear skeleton, the clear skin on it, which is awesome. It's badass. And the problem is, I was listening to Dua Lipa.
Cool. I looked it up.
I was listening to Dua Lipa, and for some reason, on like a lot of her songs, like the iPod would just cut it off early, and it would just go to the next song, like 10 to 30 seconds early.
Wow,
And it's making me really mad. And I don't know.
Do you use Apple Music?
I don't know. I do sometimes. If they give me a really good deal on it for like a few months, I'll get it. Yeah, but
Forgot how
I haven't.
iPods work
Yeah,
for a
that's on my phone, obviously. But yeah, you can't do it on your iPod.
Yeah, my bad. I forgot for a second. Because sometimes Apple Music does weird things like that to me, including like there's one Lana Del Rey song that starts really quiet, so it never plays.
Yeah.
Every once in a while, it's like it
Really?
just like if I'm listening to the album, I'll be like, did my music go off? And I'll realize it's that song every time. And since it starts really quiet, it just never plays. It's weird.
Yeah. Speaking of Apple Music, here's another thing that pisses me off about Apple Music is whenever I listen to the Fame Monster on there, especially I've noticed it on like Alejandro or on Poker Face. For some reason, it's like all screwed up. Like the equalization's all screwed up on it, so the music's really quiet, and then her voice doesn't sound the same.
Did you ever accidentally click on that thing where you can toggle up and down? It looks like a microphone because you can actually toggle the vocals down and use it for karaoke.
No, I would never do that.
Maybe on accident though.
So I'm gonna throw this out there for all the millennials listening in. because I didn't even know this at the time, and I learned this later in life as an adult. There were secret bonus tracks on CDs as track -1.
Whoa.
You had to start the CD and back a track, and it would play a bonus track if you were lucky.
That's awesome.
Interesting.
And you can't do that with digital. You couldn't do that with cassette because the cassette rewound all the way.
Yep.
It was like a unique CD thing with bonus track -1. And I forget what albums had it.
Right, but now they're all on a lot of the CDs that had those hidden bonus tracks. They're on Apple Music because they all get put on to, and of course it's not going to be before the album. It's just going to be an extra thing they tack on to the end.
Not as cool, bro.
Extra songs. Yeah, I agree. It's not as cool, but it is a thing. And and just the whole thing is just really making me mad, dude. It's irritating me. But I wanted to talk about that idiot. Not Ricky from the Commonwealth. I guess it was Tom from New Hampshire. I don't know. Dude, this guy is a moron. Talking about, Air Force One flew over Venezuela. Who cares, dude? If you think that, dude, if this guy really thinks that the Venezuelan government is going to hold the United States accountable for flying Air Force One over its airspace, I mean, this guy's an idiot. I mean, if you honestly believe that like anybody, even the United States, is going to hold the United States accountable for something, like this guy is the oldest child in the world. I mean, he's talking like a 20-year-old libertarian. Like, oh, well, you know, the United States is doing something unconstitutional right now, and the president might go to jail for it. It's the most ridiculous thing of all time.
Yeah, no one's going to hold Trump accountable for this.
I don't think anybody's going to hold the United States accountable at all either, and I don't think that this would be the way that they'd do it, and I think that, like, there'd have to be big news in the whole world, like Deep State just went against America for some reason, and that'd be the only reason that they're not just going to do it because they want to.
And like I said, if they're planning to do it, they shouldn't announce it in advance.
That's a good point too.
I got news for Tom from New Hampshire, the 19-year-old libertarian, who's just discovering this stuff. Like, dude, just so you know, the United States government can do whatever the hell it wants with impunity, and nobody will ever stop it because they have the mightiest military in the world. So, I actually recommend that Tom go ahead and try to force his will and try to put Donald Trump in jail or whatever he wants to do, and see how that goes for him.
I will say that you're not wrong. You're not necessarily wrong. Right?
I'm 100% correct. Actually,
not 100%. Let me tell you why. Because no matter the might of the United States military, if they find themselves fighting on like that many fronts militarily, the resources will run thin. Right, like that. If you want to go back to like Germany, the Eastern and Western Front, that's what did them in because they were trying to fight two wars at once. Can you imagine the United States trying to like fight a war in Israel, trying to fight a war in Venezuela, trying to fight a war against Iran, trying to help out the Ukrainians, and then having a military invasion of Greenland, all at the same time? Like, you might lose some.
Well, if it was all the countries that you just mentioned, yes, we'd still win, actually. But if it was something like China or Russia or something like that, it'd be different.
And you don't think that if the United States starts that, they'll involve themselves and you'll have World War III?
I agree. I mean, Trump's already saying, like, the reason he's doing Venezuela is ultimately because China's in South America. Like, he's already calling them out.
There you
go. Of course, that's why.
I think
it has nothing to do with narco-terrorism or anything like that. It has to do with the fact that he's, and actually, really, even that's an excuse. The United States just wants access to all the Venezuelans' oil. Is really what's going on there. But to be honest, though, I'm actually kind of glad that he went down there and arrested that little scumbag Nicolas Maduro. I hate that guy. I was actually one of the few people that predicted the complete economic collapse of Venezuela all the way back in 2017. I think a bunch of people told me at the time that I had no idea what I was talking about, but I was like, no. I was like, look, I've looked at their M2 charts down there. I've listened to the spokespeople of their central bank down there. Their economy is going to collapse, and all the warning signs are flashing red. And then, like several months later, they went into like major 1,000,000% hyperinflation.
Yeah, and that's
And
part of the
so-
weird left-right divide, right? Is like you can be against the socialist dictator of Venezuela and also say that the United States probably shouldn't have been involved in that.
Right. I
He's
don't.
got no
I hate
business
him too,
there.
but I don't think America should have gone down to Venezuela, and I've talked about that for weeks.
I don't.
Weeks.
Yeah, we should have done it, but I'm still glad. At the end of the day, now that there was no war started and it's all gone, and the aftermath is nothing. I'm kind of glad that we did actually.
Well, you know,
because
your idea is that like, oh well, he sucks. But the thing is, like, the annoying thing about it for people like us that just simply just don't like him. It's annoying because now there are people acting like he's like some kind of they're trying to like
Liberator.
saint him. Yeah, it's annoying.
Yeah, well, I know that.
So
Well, there's always going to be a small group of people who are really, really stupid, and usually they'll be on the left.
Yeah,
just
they're
like they
leftists.
are. Yeah, which I
It
mean,
just got
and
bigger
by the
when
way,
Trump
I
did
don't-
that. That's my problem.
Well, but the leftists in Venezuela, the vice president took over.
Yeah, and she's a
Right,
socialist.
and and Trump is talking to the opposition leader, that chick that won the Nobel Prize, and she's like, "Well, I'll give him my Nobel Prize," and then that's the trade, right? She gives Trump her Nobel Prize, and Trump installs her as the leader of Venezuela because we're going to run things down
What
there
does
for a
that
little
even
while.
mean? You can just
I don't
have
think
the
it works
Nobel
like
Prize
that.
that's not yours?
Well, he's going to. The Nobel Prize Committee said no, you can't do that. But
Oh, but like,
Right.
I mean, just owning the prize in your
yeah,
house.
she's just going to hand it over to him.
But like, he has her Nobel Prize in the house. No, I mean, like, clearly that's not the same
She's
thing
going to
as being...
she's going to present him with the Nobel Peace Prize
Yeah,
that
but
she
she's
won.
not them. That's what I'm saying. Like, she's
Yeah,
not
it doesn't
the
matter.
committee.
Trump's going to have the prize, and
I would
she's going to be in
feel-
charge of Venezuela.
I would feel lame if I were Trump and that was as close I got to getting the Nobel Prize. You know what I mean? I'd be like,
Okay.
I don't think Donald. I don't
I mean,
think
he's
Donald
not.
Trump cares
Trump
enough.
has won 0 soccer matches, and he has a FIFA championship somewhere.
he does? He owns
Yeah,
one?
yeah,
Oh,
because
wow,
they
that's
gave it to him, and he didn't return it, so they had to make a second copy for the actual championship team.
Oh man.
See, that's a little different, I think, because it's like, this is a cool thing in your house, but it's not like he goes around saying, I won. Like, that would be so lame if he started
Right.
saying he won Nobel Peace
It's like
Prize.
it's.
No, he'll
It's
phrase
like
like,
somebody
I was
gives you- it's like
presented the
somebody
Nobel
gives you
Peace
their
Prize.
trophy.
The prize
No,
is
it's like
mine.
somebody-
That's true.
It's like somebody gives you their trophy as a present. It doesn't mean anything. It's
pretty
Doesn't
lame.
mean you won it.
Like, I wouldn't want anybody
But-
else's trophy, to be honest.
I don't know if you've noticed how much gaslighting the federal government does, but generations from now, Trump will be in the history books as having received a Nobel Peace Prize.
No, he won't.
I saw...
And I gotta say, also, I really don't think that Trump cares enough to actually install this new person as the leader of Venezuela.
I
just
guess we
think
don't
They're
run
already talking about it.
Venezuela now. It doesn't
Yeah,
feel
he's
like
not
we
gonna do
run...
it.
We
Okay.
run Venezuela now, doesn't it? It feels like that just went by really fast.
Well, you know what? I would actually, you know what? Let me say this. This will probably make you law libertarians really mad. I would actually be kind of okay with that. I think we should actually let Venezuela be a part of the United States. We can take away their government. Their government means nothing. Their military, we can just send them over to.
And then all the
Africa or-
Venezuelans can migrate here legally
gonna
because
say,
it's
you
just
want
be
that?
going from a state to state.
Well,
There
no,
you go.
they got to stay there. But Venezuela will be a territory of the United States.
Puerto
But-
Ricans
Puerto
travel
Ricans
freely.
can come here, yeah.
But all the United States citizens, the actual United States citizens, we can all move to Venezuela if we want to. That's what I want. And actually, you know what? I'm okay with that. As a matter of fact, Donald Trump, if you're listening, yeah, let's just go ahead and make Venezuela. We should just declare that we own it now. We should just be like, yep. Hey, we own Venezuela.
I'm pretty sure that was the subtext.
We're the new rulers of Venezuela.
Right. We're going to run
Nobody
things
can
for a
do it.
while. We're going to have our corporations go back down there and take all the oil and reestablish the oil dominance that Venezuela could have had. Right? And then they just don't leave.
Yeah, exactly. And then, you know what? That's fine with me if it'll lower my gas prices for 5 or 10 years. I'm actually okay with that, to be honest with you.
And then he'll call his installed president of Venezuela. He'll reduce her title down to governor, like he tried to do
Exactly. She'll be the governor.
whatever.
Right. She'll be the governor of
Canada.
Venezuela. She'll be the governor of the United States territory of Venezuela.
Yeah.
And we, the rest of us, Americans who are superior, we will rule Venezuela with our grandiose whiteness.
Oh my
And I will go down there and I will impregnate all the beautiful Venezuelan women. They will all be my wives. And as a matter of fact, I'll do them a solid. I'll even help them start the first Venezuelan rap reggaeton label.
So white people
Is
are
that
not...
better? Is Venezuela better than Shrewsbury?
It will be once I'm there. Let me tell you that right
So
now.
Pennsylvania's white replacement rate is below the level needed to sustain population. How do you feel about that?
Well, let me tell you. When I go down there, the white population is gonna go crazy down there. Once I start impregnating all the women, no, I'll bring all the whiteness back to Venezuela.
All right.
No, I just read you
And he'll get all the
Pennsylvania's.
milk for free.
Well, anyways,
Yeah.
anything else on your mind, Turd?
They'll be getting my milk for free.
Ew. Okay, that was it. That had to be it. Gross. Well,
That one crossed the line.
we have a not trashy ghetto caller on, and his name is oh my God, I didn't mean to say that. His name is Dave Ridley. Ridley in Colorado, you're on Free Talk Live. What's on your mind?
Hey, I have an update on the OpenAI whistleblower who was found mysteriously dead.
Okay. I didn't hear
and
about
I'm
this.
sorry.
Or was this a while
Yeah.
back?
Okay. Do I sound okay because you sound distorted?
Oh, no, you sound
You
fine
sound
to me.
fine to us.
Yep.
Okay, so I'll work with it. I don't know if I'm saying this right. Suchir Balaji, Indian American guy,
You don't say.
found dead in late 2024. He had recently quit OpenAI and was listed as he was some kind of a whistleblower, and his family believed that he'd been murdered, and they were concerned that maybe someone from OpenAI might have murdered him. And so the current state of affairs is that the family is doing something sort of asymmetric, and they're sort of retaliating against OpenAI by filing a voter initiative that would go on the ballot.
Okay. For the state that they're in, for California?
Yeah, they filed it in California with the AG's office, and what it would do would prevent OpenAI from restructuring itself into a company, I think.
Okay. What are the implications of that? Who cares?
Well, the implications for the family are not something I would normally. I mean, I care what happened, but that's not something I would normally talk about on Free Talk Live unless it affected the fate of the universe, which it may. So, Closed AI, which is what I like to call them, that is the company that's kind of the leader. You know, it might not be leader right now. It might be second place or third place, but it's close to being the leader in developing the first super intelligence. And for that reason, it is the company it's closest to, getting us all killed, partly because the other companies that are developing it are more focused on safety. The reason Closed AI is as far developed as they are is because they disbanded their safety team, and they're just barreling straight ahead on capability without much focus on safety. Does that make sense?
Sure, but it doesn't really answer the question on why preventing them from becoming a company has any impact on that standard.
My guess is that this move will slow them down somewhat. The move that his mother is taking, the move that his parents are taking, will somewhat slow down this company, and that is possibly, although I don't like the means they're using, I think it could be a good thing if this company were slowed down. Does that make sense?
Well, it makes sense that if it were to slow them down, but if they're already barreling forward as an open source or open nonprofit organization, they're already barreling forward, right? You would want to stop them from being that type of organization in an attempt to slow them down. But I don't see how going in the future, if you ever want to become a company, you can't. And that will stop you from barreling forward when they already are. Right?
My understanding is their current status actually holds them back a little bit, and they would be further along if they had a wider range of latitude, and that's why they're trying to become a company. Does that make sense?
Well, if you can explain why becoming a company would give them wider latitude.
All I can say is that that's what they want, and that's an indicator that getting that would help them. And I don't want that. That's the thing. We want to make sure that they are not helped. They're already getting a lot of aid from the government, and it would be best if this company were slowed down in some way. Again, I would prefer not to use the government to slow them down, but they've got to be slowed down. It's potentially a life and death. This is all the other companies are just safer than this one. This is the last company you would want developing the thing.
Depends how much progress you want, because I'm on the other side of you, right? Progress and those breakthroughs happen at the extremes and on the edges of technology, and if you constrain that, then you slow progress.
Well, historically that is true. However, this is a technology, again, that has the ability to wipe humanity out within the next 5 years. I'm not saying it would. It might take 10 years, or it might not happen at all. But there's a large. This is so much more dangerous than something like global warming or even nuclear war.
Yeah, and again, to me, that sounds hyperbolic. And if you have more integrity than Ricky from the Commonwealth, I would bet some dash on it.
I would say, again, if you don't trust me, just listen to doomdebates.com, where a really nice, fair dude with a 50% P-Doom has people debate. He has people like you and me debate.
With an unbiased website called Doom Debate.
Well, he's mentioned many people, Ridley has, when he calls in, that talk about these things. And to be fair, I don't spend any time going and looking it up. So I wouldn't personally make any bets. And
color me unconcerned.
It does sound hyperbolic too, but it's just like, well, lots of things could harm the world. More Free Talk Live coming up, and we're going to talk about what Trump's been up to.
Anyone can publish on the internet, but not everyone is publishing material suited for online reading. According to the Yahoo Style Guide, it cautions that internet content has a few seconds, 3 or less, to encourage people to read more, to take action, or navigate to another one of your pages. So make it easy for readers to pick and choose. Isn't that the way you poke around online? Use short words, short sentences, short paragraphs, bulleted lists, and short pages. Front load what you write, putting the most important information at the beginning of headlines and paragraphs and sentences. Same goes for your keywords, what someone would likely type into the search box on Yahoo or Google. For more tips on communicating better online or in a job interview or everyday life, hit survivalspeech.com. I'm Holland Cook.
From Feature Story News in New York, I'm Mitch McCann with the Week in Review. In a stunning late-night operation, the United States captured Venezuela's president, Nicolas Maduro, and his wife in Caracas. The pair were then transported to New York City, where they appeared in court facing a series of narco-terrorism-related charges. President Donald Trump said that the raid was part of large-scale strikes against Venezuela. Mary Trini Mena was in Caracas as it all unfolded.
We heard airplanes and helicopters passing through across the city of Caracas, flying over. What we know so far is the information provided by the Venezuelan government. They say the attacks took place in 3 different states of Venezuela: La Guaira, Aragua, and Miranda. Miranda is located in the metropolitan area of Caracas. I heard the blast earlier in the morning. Right now, the city remains in calm, with authorities calling to the citizens to preserve the sovereignty of the country and remain in calm. The government says they will declare a state of emergency. And then we hear about the information provided by Donald Trump saying they capture the leader of Venezuela, Nicolás Maduro, and his wife, Cilia Flores.
A U.S. immigration agent shot dead a female driver in Minneapolis this week, kicking off a political firestorm. Video of the shooting sparked further protests in a city where around 2,000 federal officers have been deployed, Nick Harper reports.
The shooting in Minneapolis has become the latest political touchstone, with the left and the right viewing the videos in contradictory ways. Law enforcement officials say that the agent was acting in self-defense, that the woman was trying to run him over. They called the driver a violent rioter, with Donald Trump describing her as violently, willfully and viciously attacking the ICE officer. Those on the left and protesters say this was murder, with Minnesota's governor, Tim Walz, saying it was a consequence of the federal government trying to generate fear, headlines and conflict.
It was reported this week that a complete internet shutdown was imposed in Iran after mass protests against the country's clerical leadership. What started as demonstrations against Iran's struggling economy has now become a wider movement, with agitations now being reported in all 31 provinces of the country. Ishan Garg tells us more.
Videos verified by local media show large crowds of anti-government protesters marching through Iran's capital Tehran's street on Thursday, some calling for the removal of Iran's supreme leader Ayatollah Ali Khamenei. Though demonstrations started in Iran in late December against rising inflation, Thursday's protests are believed to be triggered by calls from Iranian Crown Prince and a key opposition leader Reza Pahlavi.
From Feature Story News in New York, I'm Mitch McCann, and that was the Week in Review.
Don't miss a moment of Free Talk Live. Get our archives daily via our podcast at feeds.freetalklive.com.
It's Free Talk Live, talk radio that you control. 603-283-6160. That's 603-283-6160. Are you tired of the oppressive rules and moderation of the big tech social media sites? Our Mastodon server at social.freetalklive.com can set you free. Mastodon is free, open source, decentralized, and federated. Multiple apps are available for iOS, Android, Windows, Mac, and Linux. Social.freetalklive.com. And with you on Free Talk Live tonight, you've got me, Bonnie.
Riley O'Bill.
And Richie Rich.
Riley, I keep pointing at you too when I do that.
Well, keep
Remember,
pointing at me because I'm going to one day see it. Or not.
The transhumanist movement will get you. Didn't I ask you that once? Like if you would actually take the site if it was granted to you?
You
like
mean
like a bionic
Neuralink?
eyeball or something.
I might one day. I don't know. I'm very hesitant because, I mean, growing up, I could see colors and shapes and things out of my left eye. But if suddenly I could see out of both eyes and...
Is it just the newness of the technology then? Like what would prevent you from, if they said like, hey, we've got this implant now that lets you see.
I'm very hesitant about the technology because I don't know who's controlling it. I don't know if I'm the only one who can control it.
As long as it's not from an Elon Musk company, we're
And
good.
then it's like, imagine if you could suddenly see to like the fourth dimension. Like, wouldn't that mess with your life a lot? I don't know.
Yeah, I would take it.
The fourth dimension?
Yeah, why not?
I always think about like if I could suddenly just snap my fingers and be psychic in the middle of the day, I'm always like, that'd be awesome. But honestly, when I think about it, it's like I don't ever want to be going to sleep and like see a person walk in my room.
I don't consider myself a transhumanist, but someone might say that I am, because if they advance the technology to the point where I can get enhancements, I'm all for it.
I'm scared.
Right? Like, you know, the one thing about the vision that I wouldn't do right now, like I wear contacts, but I would never get laser surgery on my eyes because contacts are fine.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Glasses are fine. And the risk of further damage, I don't want. Right? But if I was blind, right, and they said like, wow, we got this thing and it'll make you see and you'll see better than human, like I'm all about it. Or when I get old and, cataracts or whatever and I can't see anyway.
And if it was getting overwhelming, right, I guess you could just put on like a night mask, like walk around with that on.
Yeah.
That's true. And, I could definitely do that. And I would have to learn a lot of things. I guess I don't know if I'd have to learn everything over again, but I'd definitely have to learn how to use my eyes and go grocery shopping.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you already learned how to go grocery shopping without your eyes, so it might
That's
be easier.
true.
But I do totally understand, like, it sucks. I feel like whatever comes out with, like, Neuralink type stuff, including Neuralink itself, is going to be the worst weirdos running the business, and I'd be scared to put that in my body,
But if you had like a stroke, right, and your arm didn't work, and they said, hey, we've got this device, we just slap it on your, limp arm, and all of a sudden you got functionality again.
Right.
Like, do it.
Yeah.
Well, it's an interesting thought. You don't have to just know right away, I guess, if you would do that.
No, I like not being able to stir my coffee with my left hand. Let's just leave it here, curled up in a ball and atrophying
Let's just leave
on
it
my
here.
hip. Like,
Oh
no.
my goodness.
Or you could wear this sleeve.
Yeah, but what
right?
if you wear the sleeve and then, like, the government has access to your thoughts? Like, I know that arm isn't necessarily that one, but whatever they get access to. Like, then all of a sudden they can stop you from moving. You're like, hey, why can't I move?
Like
you don't know
the
this.
Devil's Playground. All of a sudden, I'm committing a murder with my.
Oh my gosh, I didn't think about that. Yeah, seriously, that's freaky.
Okay.
They apparently I saw recently a YouTube video that was saying a whole bunch of different 90s conspiracies that turned out to be real. One of these, there was this. I'm sorry that I'm like saying this the worst way possible because I'm trying to remember it while I'm saying it, but there was a whole bunch of things the military was like studying and trying to do, and one of them was hilarious. It was a gay bomb. That was real.
Okay.
They studied, and they say that they made a bomb to make other, like, say you're fighting.
They're turning the other team gay.
They're just turning the other team gay.
Oh, wow.
Okay.
And then another one was, like, to make you hear voices in your head.
Okay.
And apparently that's 100% real.
I mean, they kind of made a movie, right? The Men Who Stare at Goats was part of that.
Told me about that.
Okay.
I've never seen it.
It's not a great movie, but if you like conspiracy theories, it's a great one. You know.
Oh, remote viewing, right? That's real.
Okay, but I mean, they tried, and the conclusion was that no, this doesn't work.
Oh, in the movie, I bet that's just propaganda.
If you say so, right? Depends how deep you want to go.
People that do the Monroe Institute and stuff like that, they get really good at astral projecting. They can come back and tell you things. So I don't believe the government.
I was listening to another podcast on my way over here today, and they were talking about a bone conduction lollipop.
What's that?
Are you familiar with bone conduction?
No.
Yes.
Okay, so it allows you to hear things without using your ears. It like vibrates your bones and sends an auditory signal.
Okay.
So this is a lollipop, right? That when you put in your mouth, you're the only one that can hear what the lollipop is playing.
They have toothbrushes that do that.
Okay.
So I've heard of that, but not the lollipop.
So similar thing, right? Well, secret messages in the bone conduction lollipop, setting off MK Ultra, whatever.
Yeah, like
Whoa.
go and kill the governor or whatever.
Right, whatever.
That's scary.
Whatever it is, it could be, or it's just a novel way to eat a lollipop and listen to music at the same time.
That's actually pretty cool. Song in your lollipop. That's
It's
pretty
just
cool.
disposable.
Yeah, and you don't have to do it all the time. It's not it doesn't sound like the best way to listen to music, but it'd be novel. Yeah.
It's a novel way to listen to music and eat a lollipop.
So at the beginning of the show, we brought up this article that's the strangest behavior from Trump in the last 24 hours. I guess now it's the last 23 hours. But since we started the show, this article from the New York Times says federal prosecutors are said to have opened inquiry into Fed Chair Powell. So let's get into these last weirdest things in the last 24 hours he's done. This is from mirror.co.uk.
A reputable news source.
Thank you, Red.
I was going to say, I wish it wasn't because there's creepy articles on the side I don't want to think about. They're suggesting.
It's the UK, so sometimes it's tabloidy stuff on the side there.
Yeah, it's all tabloidy and weird. It says, it feels tired in 2026 to describe things as Orwellian, but it's hard to escape the fact that the White House is telling you to reject evidence of your eyes and ears. Here's the most unhinged moments from Trump world in the last 24 hours. Donald Trump and J.D. Vance continued to lie about the Minnesota shooting and smear the character of victim Renee Good last night. It feels tired in 2026 to that's like so Gen Z. That's why I keep saying it like that. Like, it feels tired.
It's just so tired.
Yeah. Feels tired in 2026 to describe things as Orwellian, but it's hard to escape the fact that the White House is telling you to reject the evidence of your eyes and ears. Thing is, the Trump administration knows the worst that's going to happen if they continue to insist the Earth is flat is that CBS, under its new supine leadership, will report that people can't agree on the shape of the Earth and call it unbiased journalism. I didn't hear about all this. Like, CBS is on, like...
CBS is turning themselves into, like, the new Fox News, which is just parroting out propaganda from the administration.
Oh,
that's interesting news to me, too. I hadn't heard that. And for some people who don't look at things too closely, that'll be enough to reinforce their views about ICE, protesters, women, or women who protest. It's a picture of Trump looking very sassy with his finger up like this. Sorry, you might be just listening. He has his finger up in a very sassy way at like a press conference.
Like this?
Yes.
Here's my quick hot take about the Minnesota thing, and take this with a grain of salt if you will. The only thing that Renee Good did wrong is listen to a woman when she should have been listening to the man.
What woman? And what man?
There was an ICE officer, male, shouting at her to get out of the car, and there was her wife, a female, telling her to drive away.
Oh.
And she chose to listen to the woman and drive away and got shot in the face 3 times.
Chances are she could have died if she got out of the car too.
Possibly, but
Cops were dealing with.
Understood. But if she would have listened to the man and just got out of the car, she wouldn't have been shot in the face 3 times as she attempted to drive away.
That's the point. She could have.
Could have. Yes, we don't know.
Yeah. Well,
so before we go on, I just want to say that when we're talking about fingers and how Trump was holding up, for those listening on Radioland, I had made a fist and held up my index finger straight up in the air.
almost like you're about to try to make a point. Like, actually.
Actually, yeah.
Yeah.
Cams.freetalklive.com.
So the number 1 out of this list, 1, ICE agent's video proves Trump and Vance wrong. Video taken by the ICE agent who shot... I really should watch the video on one of the breaks, but... Video taken by the ICE agent who shot Renee Good in Minnesota on Wednesday was apparently leaked to a right-wing website, Alpha News, last night. The video clearly shows Good steering to drive around and away from him when she was shot, in direct contradiction to Trump and Vance's claims that she was deliberately trying to run him over. Interestingly, it also shows him changing his phone from his right hand to his left hand 10 seconds before the fatal shots were fired, which freed up his right hand to draw the weapon.
Yep.
What's the relevance of that?
He circled around her vehicle with a cell phone, taking pictures, getting video of her license plate.
For 10 seconds.
And, well, I don't know how long it took. I don't want to say that, whatever. Mm-hmm. And then he circled back around to the front of the vehicle. And the entire time he's walking, he's got the phone in his gun hand. And then for whatever reason, switches hands. And then, the part of the video, and you can watch this and come to your own conclusion, they say like he obviously got hit because the phone kind of wobbles and falls or does whatever. But that's not because he got hit, because the other video shows him not get hit. Mm-hmm. That's because he bobbled the phone.
Yeah, I drop my phone on my face all the time.
Right. He bobbled the phone as he went for his gun, and the road is slippery, so he slipped. And if the car hit him at all, it's because during this movement he slips and kind of like leans forward towards the hood, and then pops 1 shot through the front windscreen and then 2 through the side window.
Oh my goodness, so scary.
Right.
Says, we have a full frame-by-frame breakdown of the new video compared to previous footage here. Oh, that's not even clickable, but anyways. The second most crazy thing Trump's done in the last 24 hours. 2, Trump and Vance continue to steer into the wave. I don't know what that means. Even after the new footage was published, J.D. Vance continued to insist it backed up his false claim. Whoa.
They're doubling down.
Doubling down, yep. I guess that steer into the wave is what they say for doubling down in UK.
Okay.
I'm just guessing, but...
Where they have a lot of beaches.
Do they not?
They're an island.
Yeah, they're an island.
What was the point of that? Oh, because of the wave. Okay, I got it. So it says...
I don't know how good the beaches are.
Yeah, I don't know. Never thought about that. I wonder if... I don't know. Doesn't really matter. The Isle of Wight. That's the only one I could think of. Right? It's an island. It's got to be.
Okay.
Shetland Isles.
Oh, I've heard of that one too. Wait, is that... Okay, but I guess it could be Scotland.
Yeah, the Shetland Isles are in Scotland. They're northern Scotland.
So they kept insisting it backed up their false claim that Good was deliberately trying to run the ICE agent over. Watch this, as hard as it is, Vance implored, retweeting the video. Many of you have been told this law enforcement officer wasn't hit by a car, wasn't being harassed. He's oddly online, Vance.
Yep.
And murdered an innocent woman. The reality is that his life was endangered and he fired in self-defense. That's the end of the quote. He went on to claim that it was ridiculous to suggest the shooter fired through the side window because you can see the photos of the car with bullet holes. In fact, photos of the car show only 1 bullet hole in the front windscreen because the second and third shots were fired into the open side window as the car had already passed the agent. So one of them was open, so the photos won't tell you anything.
Well, they want to suggest that because the one went through the front windscreen, that he was in the front of the car.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I get it, but
he wasn't.
Vance is lying here.
If you're at the hood of the car, off to the side, you can face and see the front windscreen. Mm-hmm. That doesn't put you in front of the car. It puts you off to the side, facing the front windscreen.
Yeah, like not about to get hit at all. And the thing about it is, like, this is like a lie kind of by omission. He's saying, like, look at the photos. So you can just look. But, like, if the window's open, it's not going to make a bullet hole in the glass.
Right.
That's so awful. It's just like a lie. That is a lie. It's just a lie by omission.
He fired through the front window from the side of the vehicle.
Yep. That sounds like that is totally possible. I haven't seen the video yet. I'm sure it's true. Vance added, the shots came from the front of the car because that's where the officer was standing when he was hit by the car. Now he's saying he was hit by the car.
Right, because the bobble cell phone video makes your brain think that he got hit, and that's why he bobbled the phone.
Whoa.
He goes like, oh, S, and then bobbles the phone, and then that's the whole clip.
And the other thing is, like, Vance continues, he says, he is allowed to discharge his weapon in self-defense. Wouldn't the most intelligent thing be in that moment to just get out of the way anyway? Not shoot?
Yes, it would be. And that's so there's the difference between like the moral and the legal thing.
Mm-hmm.
And there are experts who say that this is going to be determined to be a clean shoot because the only thing that matters is the mentality of the officer in the moment. And if he can convince like the attorney general or whomever, the grand jury, that he feared for his life, then it will be determined to be a clean shoot. Now, if he took the amount of time that it did to like switch hands with the cell phone and not draw his weapon, he would have been well clear of the vehicle because she was in fact turning away from him. And all he had to do was step half a step further than he did, and he would have been in zero danger. Not to mention, right, they're like, oh, she tried to ram him with the car. She was like 2 feet away at most between like the front bumper and him. Now, I don't know how fast you can get accelerating, in a 2 foot gap on ice, but it doesn't sound deadly to me.
Wow. This is all just crazy that they're just able, like they're fine with lying in our faces like this.
And this, from my individual expertise is I've been hit by a car, right? Like actually hit by a car, and maybe I would have been in fear for my life, but I survived it. So it's not even necessarily like and that was from further away at a much higher speed.
If you had a gun on your hip, would you have chosen to pull it or run him out of the way if you were able to?
I wouldn't have even thought about drawing.
Yeah.
Because my first instinct is not to shoot, it's to get out of the way of the danger.
That's exactly what I would think. Like, I wasn't ever hit by a car. I would think it makes more sense. And that's why I said,
but I'm also not a mentally deranged ICE agent. Yeah.
Right. So, this author of this article says, literally no element of those two sentences from Vance is true. One shot came from the front, the others from the side. He was standing to the front left of the car, which had passed him by the time his second shot was fired. He's also not allowed to just discharge his weapon in self-defense. Oh, they keep spelling defense wrong because they're from UK. Against a moving vehicle, according to the Department of Homeland Security guidelines. Whoa.
Yeah.
Moreover, as previously mentioned, he was standing near the front left of the car, which, because she'd already full locked the steering wheel away from him, like she couldn't turn it anymore, sped off to the right when he shot her. If she had wanted to run him over, she would have run him over. Meanwhile, Trump seized upon the cries of shame at the ICE agent who pulled the trigger. Sorry, seized upon the cries?
There was one bystander protester just yelling the word shame at him as he walked away. Because they also offered her no medical aid as after the crash, and prevented medical personnel from going to the vehicle to check on her until like their medical personnel showed up.
Oh my God.
Like
okay, that's a little much there.
There was a physician on the scene who went like, "Can I go check a pulse?" And they said no. He goes, well, I'm a physician. They said, we don't care, right? You're not allowed. We have medical personnel coming. So they I think the other one article said 6 minutes
honestly
had
that just
passed
makes me
before
think,
anyone was allowed to check on her.
We don't care. We're setting up a psyops moment right now, and it needs to go how it needs to go. That's honestly how I think. Meanwhile, Trump seized upon the cries of shame at the ICE agent who pulled the trigger, suggesting whoever's voice could be heard in the video he watched was somehow not normal, and it was evidence they were a professional agitator.
Yeah, because they just kept shouting shame, shame, shame.
Am I a professional agitator every time you hear me get shrill? What's that even mean? What's a professional agitator? So,
well, I mean, there have been reports about, the Democrats or the radical left bussing in people for protests. So.
Okay,
but what's to stop the right from doing the same thing?
Crisis actors exist. The government does that. That's their professional agitators, I guess.
Yeah.
I watched that yesterday, and there were a lot of forms to it, he said. But there was a woman screaming, shame, 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 shame. She was an agitator, probably a paid agitator. By who? Like the Democrats?
The radical left, man.
A very high-level agitator. So professional. She wouldn't stop screaming. I said, this isn't a normal situation. She was a professional troublemaker because you heard it and I heard it. Oh my God. That's just like he's just trying to convince you of something.
He called her professional, and then he said she wasn't even that good. Like the worst professional you could ever hire.
A very high-level agitator, too. She wasn't even that good.
A high-level agitator who wasn't very good at their job.
I will say this. The news sort of turned her off because you're trying to watch. She was so loud and so crazy and just not normal. Well, this is like, what? This is like, look over here. Like, what? When somebody sees something like that, they don't go screaming the same words. So I guess you could say professional, but I don't know. Think
she just
did a good
witnessed
job.
someone get shot in the face 3 times.
Yeah.
What's an appropriate reaction to that?
Yeah.
When the
somebody
perpetrator is right in front of you and you are powerless to do anything against them.
Yeah, shame is a pretty good word for that. Or she could have been, instead of saying that.
Does he want her to escalate? Is that the appropriate time to shoot back?
She should have said ignoble, contemptible, reprehensible, corrupt, treacherous, gang member, empire, monopoly, goon, liar, idiot,
tyrant,
crisis actor. No.
Definitely a tyrant.
Goon, definitely.
Absolutely.
So the last thing Trump said here, you have agitators and we will always be protecting ICE and we're going to be protecting our border control and our law enforcement. So,
I've said it before, probably to other people off air, but I really think the right would be the best people to get a police state going more in America because they allowed it during the Patriot Act.
They're doing it.
They're doing it in Florida.
This is the right, and this is their police state.
Yes.
Right. There have been other videos that have come out since then of, they're like the ICE conducting investigations, right? Like, oh, we're trying to find illegals. They're literally just rolling up to people and asking to see ID.
Yeah, with masks
they're rolling up in force with masks to anyone who might look brown, right? And go like, hey, are you an American? Let me see your driver's license. Like, how do we know you're an American if you don't show us your paper? Like,
and I think
so at the beginning, right, when you tried to make the comparison to Hitler, right, like he's got his secret, he's got his his Stasi, his secret force.
He definitely does, and the right allowed for the Patriot Act to take over America, to impose the police state, and they blame the left for the surveillance.
And the conservatives are cheering it on, right? Yeah, they should be just rolling up on people and asking for papers.
Yeah, and they've had time to figure out what are the things that are important to conservatives right now, and then egg it on Twitter, and then slowly act like we're going to do something about these illegals and stuff like that. So illegals is a big thing. Think about Turd in Last Call, how he was like, I actually think it's great what they're doing in Venezuela. It's like, if you think you can just get something that the American right will back you because it's just like brown people bad right now.
He also doesn't like tourists because prices go up when tourists are in town.
Oh yeah, he said that, yeah. And
more illegals,
gas prices.
More international tourists, prices go up.
Number 3, Trump acted very strangely at the meeting of oil and gas companies. Did you guys hear about this?
Not particularly.
No.
Donald Trump hosted a gaggle of oil and gas firms at the White House last night, most of them thirsty to get involved with America's raid of Venezuelan assets. And the president acted very, very strangely. To start with, during a weave about his forthcoming vanity ballroom, he suddenly stood up and ambled toward the patio door behind him, looking out the window to the building site outside and making approving noises. Oh, I wish I could play it on there. I don't think it's going to work right now to play it on the air, but that would be really fun.
I would love to hear them.
Oh, yes. Oh, yes.
Noises.
Oh, baby. Look at my building. This is the best building in the world.
Oh, that's so weird. He turned completely around and he's just looking at the...
I can hear it in my headphones.
You do?
Uh-huh.
Oh.
This is the door to the ballroom.
Yep, he's admiring the ballroom.
This is the door to the ballroom.
Let's see if this is where he does the noises. All right.
I gotta look at this myself.
I hope this is going out.
I hope this is too. This is great to listen to.
Wow.
What a view. This is the door to the ballroom.
All right, those aren't noises, to be fair. Like I thought it was gonna or something like that. That'd be
like he's
so
moaning
weird.
in pleasure.
Yeah, exactly.
In 10,
porn star.
9. Hey, oops.
That's just weird. That's like, I mean, it's still pretty weird to be like. It's like,
sure.
I thought it was gonna be a bit weirder than that. I thought it was gonna be.
Well, yeah, he's talking to oil executives, and then in the middle of the meeting, he just gets up, meanders to the window, and starts admiring his ball. Right. So,
and it's funny. It says this woman absolutely screamed, "Grandpa is having a moment." It did.
The dementia hit him in that very moment. He forgot who he was meeting with and only could focus on the ballroom.
So funny. 603-283-6160. More weird actions of Trump in the last 24 hours coming up, and more Free Talk Live coming up. Don't go anywhere. 603-283-6160 is the phone number. That's 603-283-6160. More Free Talk Live coming up.
Free Talk Live.
I wanted to ask your listeners about the religion and the people who practice Wicca. What do they think their agenda is? Is it to take over the world? Or?
Oh, no. No, I don't think so.
I mean, because they're somewhat of bullies.
They're bullies? What do you mean?
They bully with the religion themselves. A lot of people are afraid of them.
Can you give me an example?
The Tea Party.
The Tea Party has to do with Wicca?
Well, it's mostly because they're so secretive.
So
the Wiccans.
The Wiccans are secretive, and they have a lot of numbers, and they've infiltrated the Tea Party?
Well, they use them, like, for instance, the breakdown of Obamacare. That could very well have been the Wiccans using their power to break down the computers.
Free Talk Live, 7 nights a week from 7 to 10 Eastern at freetalklive.com.
The new 4th edition of Healing Our World, The Compassion of Libertarianism, will take your understanding of liberty to a deeper level and has over 1,300 updated references, new cartoons, and a foreword by Dr. Ron Paul. With discounts for multiple book purchases, the 4th edition of Healing Our World is a great gift for the liberals, pragmatists, environmentalists, and Christians in your life who think libertarianism is cold-hearted. Get yours today at healing.freetalklive.com and use promo code FTL for a $5 discount. There are lots of ways to listen to Free Talk Live. Our podcast has been around since podcasts began, and now the FTL feed is loaded with content besides our full show archives. Did you know that we make it easy for you to customize your podcast subscriptions? We have different feeds, one that includes only our full shows, one with just the Daily Digest, and our main feed that includes everything. You decide what you listen to. It's quick and easy to customize your feeds at feeds.freetalklive.com. That's feeds.freetalklive.com.
You're listening to the live edition of Free Talk Live. Hour number 3 is next after the news here on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
From Feature Story News in New York, I'm Mitch McCann with the Week in Review. In a stunning late-night operation, the United States captured Venezuela's president, Nicolas Maduro, and his wife in Caracas. The pair were then transported to New York City, where they appeared in court facing a series of narco-terrorism-related charges. President Donald Trump said that the raid was part of large-scale strikes against Venezuela. Mary Trini Mena was in Caracas as it all unfolded.
This morning, Venezuelans woke up with several blasts across the city. We heard airplanes and helicopters passing through across the city of Caracas, flying over. What we know so far is the information provided by the Venezuelan government. They say the attacks took place in 3 different states of Venezuela: La Guaira, Aragua, and Miranda. Miranda is located in the metropolitan area of Caracas. I heard the blast earlier in the morning. Right now, the city remains in calm, with authorities calling to the citizens to preserve the sovereignty of the country and remain in calm. The government says they will declare a state of emergency. And then we hear about the information provided by Donald Trump saying they capture the leader of Venezuela, Nicolás Maduro, and his wife, Cilia Flores.
A U.S. immigration agent shot dead a female driver in Minneapolis this week, kicking off a political firestorm. Video of the shooting sparked further protests in a city where around 2,000 federal officers have been deployed, Nick Harper reports.
The shooting in Minneapolis has become the latest political touchstone, with the left and the right viewing the videos in contradictory ways. Law enforcement officials say that the agent was acting in self-defense, that the woman was trying to run him over. They called the driver a violent rioter, with Donald Trump describing her as violently, willfully and viciously attacking the ICE officer. Those on the left and protesters say this was murder, with Minnesota's governor, Tim Walz, saying it was a consequence of the federal government trying to generate fear, headlines and conflict.
It was reported this week that a complete internet shutdown was imposed in Iran after mass protests against the country's clerical leadership. What started as demonstrations against Iran's struggling economy has now become a wider movement, with agitations now being reported in all 31 provinces of the country. Ishan Garg tells us more.
Videos verified by local media show large crowds of anti-government protesters marching through Iran's capital Tehran's street on Thursday, some calling for the removal of Iran's supreme leader Ayatollah Ali Khamenei. Though demonstrations started in Iran in late December against rising inflation, Thursday's protests are believed to be triggered by calls from Iranian Crown Prince and a key opposition leader, Reza Pahlavi. Amnesty International says more than 20 people have died in the protests since December 31st, and concerns remain about further clashes between protesters and Iranian security forces.
The French foreign minister says he will work with European allies to create a plan should the United States follow through on its threats of taking control of Greenland. The Trump administration has renewed its interest in the semi-autonomous Danish territory, stating that it's needed for matters of national security. William Denslow reports from Brussels.
France's foreign minister says he's discussing the issue of Greenland during a meeting with German and Polish counterparts. Speaking on local radio, Jean-Noël Barrot said that France wants to take action, but to do so in coordination with European partners. This comes as US President Donald Trump says he's discussing a range of options to acquire Greenland, including the use of the military. Washington says it needs the territory to stave off an increased threat in the Arctic posed by Russia and China. Several European leaders have penned a joint statement this week saying that the region's security is a collective issue and that Greenland belongs to its people.
380,000 homes were left without power on Friday after Storm Goretti hit France. The north of the country was worst hit, with all train services in the region of Normandy cancelled. Ross Callan reports.
In Normandy, heavy rain is sweeping across the region and winds in excess of 200 kilometres an hour have brought down trees on railway lines and electricity cables. Dozens of people have been injured across the country, and the top official in the region around the port city of Calais has ordered the public to shelter in place for now. The stormy conditions will continue into the weekend. On Saturday, 6 regions in the northeast of the country are expecting more snow and ice, with yellow weather warnings in place.
From Feature Story News in New York, I'm Mitch McCann, and that was the Week in Review.
A heroic broken sewage pipe floods Congress with waste. Johnson & Johnson introduces new leave-in Q-tips. This Thursday, local youth Andrew Robillard told reporters he had no idea why he couldn't wear his Iron Man costume to his grandfather's funeral. Robillard, whose grandfather passed away this week after complications from a stroke, vented his frustration to reporters and noted that his grandpa, quote, probably wouldn't even care if he dressed like Iron Man at the funeral.
Iron Man is awesome. I want to wear my Iron Man suit. I am Iron Man.
And in tech news, a news website refers to its users' ceaseless exchange of racial slurs as a discussion. In other news, Guinness World Records promotes the man who can lift 27 pounds with his tongue to editor-in-chief. Thursday's cry is moved up to Wednesday due to a scheduling conflict, and a family watches in silence as dad checks out the waitress.
This is the Onion News Network.
We're still not sure why you'd want to watch, but our video feed is streaming nightly for free at cam.freetalklive.com. Free Talk Live.
It's Free Talk Live, talk radio that you control, and 603-283-6160. That's 603-283-6160 is the phone number here to get in on the conversation with us and bring up whatever you want at Free Talk Live. You can change the subject. It doesn't matter. It's up to you. It's Free Talk Live. And that's 603-283-6160. With you on Free Talk Live, you've got me, Bonnie.
Riley O'Bell.
And Richie Rich.
And in the last segment, we were talking about the strange things Trump's done in the last 24 hours. I love lists on Free Talk Live. I think it's such a fun format for an article to be in. A list of
everyone in radio loves lists.
Yeah,
it's a time filler like you wouldn't believe.
Oh yeah,
but I don't feel like it's just like, oh, I have nothing to talk about. It's a time filler. I think it's fun.
Well, yeah, but if you don't have something to talk about, it is a time filler.
But oddly, this is like we have so much to talk about that this article is great for being able to condense it all.
Sure.
Instead of me having to read like a whole article about the good situation, I knew nothing about it, and this article did a pretty good job condensing it, I'd say.
Still watch the videos.
Oh yes,
draw your own conclusions.
Also, add a lot of stuff that the article didn't have for us because I didn't watch the videos. Did you hear anything about the videos, read a description or listen to them or anything, Riley?
No, I did not read anything or just hear them described or anything like that, so I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm out of the loop.
The only thing weird about the whole encounter is like, why was she perpendicular in the road? Right? Like there's video of her pulling up and then pulling sideways, and that's a little weird. But it's most like a traffic violation or misdemeanor. You know, there's also
shouldn't die for it.
Shouldn't die for it. You know, they were saying that she was blocking ice, but the guy who shot her had already driven past, parked his car, and walked back towards her. Right, so they could clearly get by if that was the intent. They chose to antagonize her.
So they can't say like, "Oh, it's kidnapping. I couldn't move." Or
yeah, like again, you can see in the video other cars pass, and she waved other cars on. Like, should she have been in the middle of the road? Probably not. But again, that's not a death sentence.
Right.
That's a traffic infraction.
So the last of the list of the weird things Trump has done in the last 24 hours. At this point, like what, 26 hours? From the Mirror. It's mirror.co.uk.
A reputable news source, by the way, in case you're wondering.
Number 3 was Trump acted very strangely at the meeting of oil and gas companies, and they had this one little sentence I had to read. It's really funny. It says, later in the meeting, we already played the audio of him walking away from them to stare out his window and admire his patio.
It's a dementia moment.
Yeah, it's definitely a grandpa having a moment.
I wonder if he's getting as demented as Biden was.
I don't know. It's hard to say.
Yeah.
Different ways.
By the end of his term, he will be.
Yeah, that's definitely true. I would say I'd take you on that bet, but at the same time, I agree with you. So
yeah.
But they said this last little thing is so funny. It says later in the meeting, Marco Rubio passed him a private note suggesting he speak to one of the oil barons at the table again, which Trump duly read out loud. That's so funny.
It's a Ron Burgundy moment.
It's just like literally, it's like a.
He put it on the teleprompter.
Sounds like a.
Who's Ron Burgundy?
Who's Ron? I'm Ron Burgundy.
Isn't it Zoolander? Is that movie?
No,
I don't
Anchorman.
know. Okay. Anchorman, okay. But
yeah.
Similar idea. I've never seen either, so
yeah.
And everybody says like I should watch those, and they sound good and everything. But
you should. They're funny.
It does. It literally sounds like something out of a comedy. Like
it's definitely a comedy.
Not believe that was real. I don't know. I guess you'd have to see it to believe it.
Or
It's probably on video somewhere.
Biden reading the notes on the prompter.
Oh yeah, and like you take your seat.
Right. Yeah.
That's crazy.
Right.
Or another one that's really similar is when Ron DeSantis was doing a short stint of thinking about running for president. He had something on a piece of paper that said "act likable" or something like that. That was so bad. Or like don't be
stage notes from his staff.
They were like,
don't be yourself. We're trying to win this thing.
Oh,
Ron.
Exactly.
Man.
Literally.
Deceptive DeSantis.
Don't be such a unlikable prick. Like literally something like that. So we have a caller on the line. I'm going to go to the phones. Sarah in New Mexico, you're on Free Talk Live. What did you want to talk about? What's on your mind?
Well, I'm just excited that a mile and a half from where I live, they put in a hawk light, the high intensity activated crosswalk, and I ran over there right away when I found out. When I pressed the button, it really stopped 4 lanes of traffic, so I could cross.
Okay.
Like
weirdly, that's one of the weirdest things in New Hampshire. I don't know if it's
what's weird about it.
The pedestrians get their own turn at the intersection.
Well, when they press the button, right?
Doesn't matter. Whenever that light goes, right? Like everywhere else that I've lived. The pedestrians light goes with the flow of traffic.
Oh,
so if you're facing north, right, every cars all stop and the pedestrians can cross, like do a diagonal cross if they want to. And I'm like, all right, that's new for me, right?
I
Usually,
don't know if it's new to me. I don't know.
Well, you've lived in a lot more places.
So
I haven't driven that many.
Do you mind? Can I? All right. So as a blind person, the way I was taught to cross with traffic or cross streets is if it's a lighted intersection and you press the button, listen to traffic, listen to your parallel traffic, go through the intersection and not turn. So if it's a crosswalk where I can press a button and all the traffic stops, then I don't have to worry about it. So it takes the burden off of me to have to listen.
Okay.
So I can see the benefit of it, but also, be trained to be trained in everything, because not every intersection is going to be that way.
That's a good point, actually. Because I feel like I don't know if I agree that they're all like the same. I feel like I see some with buttons and some without, but I could be wrong. But
I personally don't like it because going with the flow of traffic is sufficient.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Like you don't need to stop all traffic going through the intersection so you can cross a street.
Mm-hmm.
You need like the perpendicular traffic that's going to sideswipe you to stop so that you can cross a
One
street.
thing I'm wondering is maybe in states you've lived, maybe right turns weren't allowed in a lot of places, and so
doesn't matter.
Because if it's like, well, only these lanes are going, every once in a while those people can turn at you though.
Right. And so this is where it might be difficult for Riley,
Mm-hmm.
but and I disagree with this, in all the states, pedestrians have the right of way.
Mm.
So if you're approaching a right turn and you see a pedestrian waiting to cross, right, you must yield to the pedestrian
Mm-hmm.
and let them make their cross before you make your right-hand turn. And that seemed sufficient for most of my life.
Okay, I get what you're saying. Anything else about this hawk light or anything for us, Sarah?
Well, I want to talk about all of this, Venezuelan news and stuff like that. So, it's amazing how all the stuff comes out when they've been keeping the American people so stupid. Like this oil tanker, they put a Russian flag on it, pretending to be a Russian oil tanker, and they knew that it started out from from Venezuela. They know it's a Venezuela ship going to Russia, where they have sanctions.
But do they want to take the risk and attack it if it's actually a Russian ship?
Who put the flag on it? Venezuela?
Probably, whoever's driving the tanker, probably.
I
Whatever
guess
flag they want to fly.
That sounds smart, right? Like to.
It's a deceptive, but yeah, fly what you want.
But Sarah called it stupid.
But who did it? Who gave the authority to do it? It's the Venezuelan government, or the Russians gave the authority, or the both?
Authority's fake anyway.
It could have been the captain of the boat trying not to get boarded by Americans or blown out of the water by Americans.
Who are the new pirates?
Yeah.
Well, look at all the secrets that they had. Like 70% of the oils, the Chinese were taking it from Venezuela.
Who cares?
Venezuelans were supporting the Cuban economy. Okay, and they're also saying
how is that any American's business?
Here's the thing. It's like they wanted to make sure. The thing is that they wanted. I'm finding out because I'm paying attention, but they want to keep the American public as stupid as possible, very dumbed down.
That is true.
So
that's always been true.
Yeah.
Yeah, it has always been true. They don't put this out on the news until now. It's all spilling out. Everybody's like,
Right. But if Venezuela sells their oil to China, or from company to company or country to company or whatever, right? However they transact that, it has no impact on America directly, right? Like, the Chinese are getting a better price. Well, yeah, you shop around, you can find a better price, right? If they're funding Cuba's economy for whatever reason, no bearing on the United States. Right? Like,
What is Trump trying to say? This is why we get to bomb them?
I don't know. Ask Sarah, because she's the one bringing it up. I'm just saying, like, whatever those reasons are, has no bearing on the United States at all, with whom they choose to do business with.
Well, here's the thing: is that the American public, there's a lot of anti-Trump Republican people here. They might know that there's a support around the world that are in the same group, the same camp. And I think they want to keep the Americans as dumb as possible.
You've said that.
Yeah. I know, but there is a reason there. The less we know, the more they could confuse us, and just you have to really.
I mean, it's crazy.
Well, good thing you're on top of it, Sarah.
Trump and Vance are lying to people when there's videos that contradict what they're saying. It's like they don't even need that anymore. They don't even need to lie anymore. They don't even need to keep us ignorant of information anymore. They'll just lie to your face.
Yeah.
Thank you for the call, Sarah, from New Mexico.
They gaslight, they propagandize, and they maintain that gaslighting and propagandization long enough where it just becomes the truth.
We do agree with Sarah on this. I just I didn't really get what she was saying all about the Russian flag and stuff. I want to go to Creighton in Kentucky. Creighton, thank you for the call, Sarah. You're on Free Talk Live. Creighton, what's on your mind?
Well, I called in comment about the videos of the Minnesota shooting, because I have actually seen them.
Okay.
But I also want to really want to quick mention that they don't really have to lie to you anymore. The very fact that Donald Trump was willing to come out and say it's about the oil, it is rather refreshing in its own right. At least he was honest. But
I don't know, because some people say it's not about the oil. They say it's about China and being able to stop China from advancing. So who knows?
An honest politician doing bad things is better than a dishonest politician doing bad things.
But it might be kind of a lie, though.
Okay.
Or maybe it's only half truth.
Wow, that's kind of like levels of, I don't know. But the videos, I watched all the videos, and mostly because my wife mentioned to me about it, and she wanted to know what I felt about it. And I didn't know what to think about it. And I watched all the videos, including the most recent ones. And
Go on.
My conclusion is that there is no way that this cop gets in any trouble, regardless of whose fault it was.
And why is that?
Because the video he was taken from his perspective very much looks like she hit him.
Right, but again, that's because he bobbled the phone as he slipped on the ice, trying to move out of the way.
But why are you acting like it would not, like the second footage wouldn't matter? Wouldn't the grand jury see both, Creighton?
They would, but the one that's the perspective of the police officer is privileged.
But he has eyeballs.
And
I mean, like, that's not what his eyeballs were seeing or his legs were feeling.
Won't matter if you're trying to convict a cop. I'm just saying that there's just simply not enough.
Yeah. And that's why I said earlier, there's the difference between like the legality of the situation and the morality of the situation, where he's not
going to face any real consequences. It's just not going to happen.
And other experts have suggested that, but also suggested it's still a bad shoot, right? Like it was still unnecessary, even though he's likely going to get away with it.
Yes.
Right.
He probably has PS. This reaction implies he has post-traumatic stress disorder, and he was responding to that. And he probably should have been removed from active service and treated before this kind of thing happened. And the news even said that afterwards, that he has been in a previous event where he was put in the hospital by a car, car driver.
6 months ago or something.
It doesn't excuse his action, but it's going to excuse his action, is what I'm saying.
Right. Well,
as for the actions of the woman while she was in the street sideways, she was actively resisting. She was part of a group called Ice Watch, and spent the most of the day actively agitating ICE actions,
which we're allowed to do as American citizens. We're allowed.
We're not allowed to block traffic doing it.
So here's the thing about that. Here's the thing about that. Go watch the video again. Right? I know you've already watched it. Go watch it again. The guy that shot her had already driven past her. She did not block anybody.
I'm aware of that.
Okay.
But she was still blocking traffic and gave them an excuse to engage with her.
Sure.
While they were just filming, they didn't have an excuse to engage with her.
Sure.
She gave them the excuse, and everything went sideways on her.
But we're allowed to do that. We're allowed to yell at cops and curse out cops and give the middle finger to cops whenever we darn well please as American citizens. And all the legal precedent said that is not justification for any sort of interaction on that from the cop to engage the person shouting at them. And what is ICE going to do if she's blocking the street? They're not traffic cops. They're not going to issue her a ticket. They're not going to take her down to county. That's not their jurisdiction.
That is really weird.
If they could drive by her to go on with ICE business, then they had no reason to stop,
Such a good
regardless of what she's yelling.
I feel like there was like something that was like a loading screen in my head, and I hadn't really come to this part of it yet. It's like, he's an ICE cop, he's not a cop, so why does he even have any business being angry about her being in the road, especially since you said he already drove past her. And I was like, okay, so he's not being like trapped in the road in any way.
They weren't trapped. If they had ICE business 2 blocks down, they could have left her in the middle of the road, driven 2 blocks down to continue with their ICE business, right? And she probably would have followed them down the road to harangue them some more, which is her right to do as an American citizen.
And people are allowed to, organize together and say, and then if if an ICE agent kills someone in front of you, start yelling, shame, shame. And then that doesn't make you a professional. It doesn't make it any worse that you're a professional if you were. It just seems like there were people that were organizing to do things like this. But.
And if local PD showed up and said, ma'am, move the vehicle, we're going to write you up for blocking traffic.
First Amendment auditors.
Yeah.
I don't know about First Amendment.
They would have the jurisdiction to ticket her or to arrest her or whatever, but it's not an ICE detention. That's
ICE cop
out of their jurisdiction.
Call the cops if he really wants.
Which they could do.
Right.
Hey, there's a lady blocking the road. Mm-hmm. This is your show. Move her.
Yeah.
Or arrest her and move the vehicle so that we can go on. But they already could go on, right? She didn't prevent them from any ICE business.
One of the things that Creighton said, and I don't think you're using it, you're not trying to excuse the cop, Creighton, it didn't sound like that to me, but one of the things you said, just like, it irritates me that cops are on the street that are so both cowardly and gun ready, or what's it called, like trigger happy.
Yep.
They're cowards and want to get in a fight all at the same time. It's the most horrible mix, and it's negligent for these police stations to have cops like this, or ICE in this situation to have
They're
cops
the
out there
ones
like that.
agitating and trying to provoke a response.
They harass people daily, and then we will never get the president saying, this cop was clearly agitating Bonnie, so he was wrong. You'll never get that. They agitate real humans all the time.
And if this guy doesn't get indicted, right, and Minnesota goes into like another riot mode, which I'm little happy about if they do.
Destructive,
sure, go
escalation.
Yeah, I'm all about that. Speed beats armor, so learn. I'll just stop there as to not get in trouble again.
Yeah, I think you might have danced the line there. But I was going to comment that, the nature of police enforcement attracts that personality type.
Yep.
The majority of cops are like that.
It definitely seems like it to me.
Tiny balls energy.
Definitely Napoleon syndrome. Even if they're not sure, that's not the point. I just mean like feeling like they have to prove themselves. My daddy hit my mom when I was a baby, and now I want to be like my daddy. To never feel sad and scared again. So it sounds a little sad. I'm not trying to make you feel bad for them. I'm trying to say that that's like the ridiculous level. It actually gets that deep. That's how these people think. I don't want to be a victim again. It's not. I want to be a good person. Every once in a blue moon, you get somebody who wants to be a good person. They will so quickly get out of being a police. Like, I just heard the story of a cop that I would actually say R.I.P. about. Yakey. Yeah, it's Terrence Yakey, and he witnessed the Oklahoma City bombing, and he was so disturbed by all the incorrect things being reported on the news, and the fact that his own police department was saying, oh, this happened. He knew with his own eyes it wasn't true. He wrote police reports, and he was trying to get them like, hey, I saw this and this, like, you guys are wrong about this and that, and they killed him because he wouldn't stop trying to speak out.
Yep. That's what happens when you try to bring evidence against the propaganda.
It does.
I'll say one more thing about ICE, and your legal opinions may differ. They have no business being in existence because immigration is not a federal purview. It's not in the Constitution. They don't handle immigration, so there's no reason to have ICE, an agency enforcing immigration. That's not their job at the federal level. It's not there. There's no constitutional backing for that activity. So they're an unconstitutional agency, a federal agency invading states, infringing on states' rights to handle immigrations as states choose, if that's in the state's constitution. So they shouldn't exist. They're there harassing citizens, and good on anyone who's willing to protest against that because it's an absolute infringement, even according to their own rules.
And it makes me a little annoyed that, like, now I hear about people that's, like, these super incredibly organized little groups of soccer moms or whatever that are leftists are only doing this now that it's ICE. It's like, really? It's like you never cared to join, like, First Amendment auditors before about regular police. It's just like you want to make this statement, make yourself look so pro, like, brown people. Like, oh, this is another, like, ML or BLM thing that makes me look cool. It's so dumb. It's like, just be principled and do that stuff against regular cops all the time. That'd be awesome.
Well, they did, because the George Floyd thing was in Minnesota. Like, this is them again.
They were not going and cop blocking. They were just, you know, doing stuff like protests, like the most stupid.
They burned down
stuff.
A police station.
Okay, like once.
Yes.
They didn't start genuine.
They should burn down more
cop-blocking.
police stations.
Like they still would be the type of people that
Or the
would
ICE
just,
headquarters or whatever they got set up over
there.
there.
You go. That would be a huge protest if you burn down the ICE headquarters.
Yeah, they should actually get useful like that, I think.
And they might, right? If this dude gets off, they might, and I'm here for it.
Yeah, that would be an interesting, maybe a bright side is like at least the waking of people up. Like if he doesn't get, like this seems so set up to me. It seems really fake in my opinion. It feels like, not that this woman didn't die. This woman probably died. But it's just like, what are the odds? It's like two different videos and it looks different from both angles. And it's like, one is perfect for the left and one is perfect for the right's narrative.
Right.
Weird about that. That part is really weird.
That was very convenient.
Yeah, that's really convenient.
And again, for the deep state, it's not necessarily that they set up these optics, right? It's that they take advantage when the optics presents itself.
Right.
And this one has definitely presented itself.
I completely agree with that. It might not have been set up like a literal movie set, but it could have been too. 603-283-6160. It's Free Talk Live. More coming up. 603-283-6160. Bring up whatever's on your mind. More Free Talk Live coming up.
Hey, you are going to love the movie Victimless Crime Spree. It's hilarious, heartwarming, and carries a ton of inspiring freedom messages. Feeling down about the lack of liberty in your life? You need to put on this film with some friends and have a good laugh. It's a true story about me and my friends in New Hampshire living free, singing, dancing, and getting arrested. Of course, it's all on video, and the bad guys, the cops, judges, bailiffs, and sheriffs, they all play their part like it's out of a movie or something. You would think we scripted the whole thing, but it's real life. Go ahead and have a watch, and if it's been a while, have another look. I guarantee you'll notice things now that you didn't notice before. And the best part is that you're going to walk away feeling a renewed sense of your own power. You are the master of your destiny, and you will be free in your lifetime. Victimless Crime Spree.
From Feature Story News in New York, I'm Mitch McCann with the Week in Review. In a stunning late-night operation, the United States captured Venezuela's president, Nicolas Maduro, and his wife in Caracas. The pair were then transported to New York City, where they appeared in court facing a series of narco-terrorism-related charges. President Donald Trump said that the raid was part of large-scale strikes against Venezuela. Mary Trini Mena was in Caracas as it all unfolded.
We heard airplanes and helicopters passing through across the city of Caracas, flying over. What we know so far is the information provided by the Venezuelan government. They say the attacks took place in 3 different states of Venezuela: La Guaira, Aragua, and Miranda. Miranda is located in the metropolitan area of Caracas. I heard the blast earlier in the morning. Right now, the city remains in calm, with authorities calling to the citizens to preserve the sovereignty of the country and remain in calm. The government says they will declare a state of emergency. And then we hear about the information provided by Donald Trump saying they capture the leader of Venezuela, Nicolas Maduro, and his wife, Cilia Flores.
A U.S. immigration agent shot dead a female driver in Minneapolis this week, kicking off a political firestorm. Video of the shooting sparked further protests in a city where around 2,000 federal officers have been deployed. Nick Harper reports.
The shooting in Minneapolis has become the latest political touchstone, with the left and the right viewing the videos in contradictory ways. Law enforcement officials say that the agent was acting in self-defense, that the woman was trying to run him over. They called the driver a violent rioter. with Donald Trump describing her as violently, willfully and viciously attacking the ICE officer. Those on the left and protesters say this was murder, with Minnesota's Governor Tim Walz saying it was a consequence of the federal government trying to generate fear, headlines and conflict.
It was reported this week that a complete internet shutdown was imposed in Iran after mass protests against the country's clerical leadership. What started as demonstrations against Iran's struggling economy has now become a wider movement, with agitations now being reported in all 31 provinces of the country. Ishan Garg tells us more.
Videos verified by local media show large crowds of anti-government protesters marching through Iran's capital Tehran's street on Thursday, some calling for the removal of Iran's supreme leader Ayatollah Ali Khamenei. Though demonstrations started in Iran in late December against rising inflation, Thursday's protests are believed to be triggered by calls from Iranian Crown Prince and a key opposition leader, Reza Pahlavi.
From Feature Story News in New York, I'm Mitch McCann, and that was the Week in Review.
You can help spread the ideas of liberty with our Patreon for just $5 per month at amps.freetalklive.com.
It's Free Talk Live, talk radio that you control, and 603-283-6160. That's 603-283-6160 is the phone number for you to call to get in on the conversation with us. And that's 603-283-6160. With you on Free Talk Live tonight, you've got me, Bonnie.
Riley O'Bill.
And Richie Rich.
And we have another story that it's really interesting to me because I've been talking to multiple different friends about it, and like multiple people have different opinions, but I have real life experience with it. I flew without real ID recently, and it was totally fine. Like they ask you a bunch of extra questions. They treat you like a cop, like, well, where are you going? Blah blah blah, and it's annoying.
They pat you down?
No, they didn't pat me down. They did the thing on your hand where they like seem like they're looking for like bomb residue or something like that.
Gunpowder residue.
Yep.
But other than that, I went through and it only took maybe like 1 extra minute. So I think it's great. We should just keep not having real ID and, like bringing down their morale and making them like, what do we have to keep doing this extra stuff? Always say no to the picture. Always say, I don't have real ID. You still get to fly. So anyways, it says DHS says real ID, which DHS certifies, is too unreliable to confirm U.S. citizenship.
Nice.
I've heard this. It's like,
gee, really?
It's not actually.
Who would have thought?
It's all those liberal states giving out driver's license to every immigrant that crosses a border.
Oh, okay. Is that what it is?
I don't know. It seems reasonable, right?
Yeah, maybe. It's probably true. It says it's the punchline to a bad joke that started 20 years ago when Congress passed the Real ID Act. Only the government could spend 20 years creating a national ID that no one wanted, and that apparently doesn't even work as a national ID. That just the other day, my sister went to go get a driver's license. I didn't even think about talking to her about Real ID. I just didn't even think about it, but she asked for a ride. And so she came out and she was like, I couldn't get Real ID because I had the wrong kind of mail.
Yeah. In New Hampshire, there's like extra requirements to get the Real ID.
Yeah, I was like, you shouldn't have wanted a Real ID anyway. Don't you know that's going to be how they bring in the New World Order and stuff like that? And she was just like, oh. I was like, so you got lucky this time.
Luckily, I was here to tell you after the fact.
I didn't think about it at all. I wasn't thinking Real ID. I just would have told them no. But
I was a bad boy and got Real ID because I don't want to have to, as a disabled person, I don't want to be hassled by the people more than I have to be.
Yeah, they barely hassled me. I don't know if it changes from person to person or something.
Ironically, I only have Real ID because the only official government document I carry is my passport.
Real ID, passport's Real ID?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Like, it's always been?
As far as I know.
Oh. Or it's just like compliant or something.
I mean, that's all it has to be, right? Real ID is not a thing. It's a standard.
Yeah. Okay,
yeah.
That makes sense. So That's what you mean. So yeah, because they asked me like, do you have your passport? I was like, nope. So I just thought, not that it is real ID, just that it's like, well, you could get by with either or kind of thing.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Most people, not everyone who travels like with domestically has a passport, because that's typically for international travel, right? But I don't have a domestic ID. I've only got my passport.
Okay. I have just a driver's license, but it's not real ID.
Right.
And
which would prevent you from like going to Canada or Mexico if you wanted to.
Yeah. The last time I needed a new ID, they asked me if I wanted real ID. I don't know if next time they're not going to do that. I don't know. And I'm going to use the hack and try to not bring enough mail. I'll only give them like one piece and see like, you need one more, and then like give them like one, like to get your ID at all, then I give them one more but not two, and see if I can,
I'm pretty sure New Hampshire's been one of the states that's actively opposed to real ID as far as like federal overreach.
Mm-hmm.
So they offer it as a courtesy, whereas other states don't give you the option.
Okay.
Like their ID is just real ID compliant, and that's the end of the story.
Well, okay.
I think that's true with Utah. Like, I didn't have the option in Utah to get real ID or not. It was just given to me.
There you go.
That when I had my Utah driver's license, it wasn't real ID either, and I've known because I've been told it wasn't real ID in the stupid lines when they tell you, oh, you're going to need real ID in a couple more months, and you never ever did.
Right.
But
and that was part of the states taking more time than they should have to make their system real ID compliant.
But I didn't get an ID like Riley had. I had a driver's license, so there could be a difference there. And also, it was like 20. I don't know.
You're just old.
16? I don't know.
Yeah, see, when I got my ID in 2023, that's what it was.
Yeah, I don't know.
Okay.
And another thing could be like they just wanted to force you, and they're just like, here, and it's real ID, by the way.
Right. That's what I'm saying. Other states don't give you a choice. New Hampshire has been one of the few states that offer the option and have resisted the federal overreach of real ID.
Well, we have a caller on the line, so I'm going to go to the phones. Unscreened caller, you're on Free Talk Live. What's on your mind?
I want to talk about a great new book I stumbled across. It has some great analysis of what real markets look like. Have you guys ever heard of a book called Radical Markets: Uprooting Capitalism and Democracy?
Is this from the Center for a Stateless Society?
No.
Oh. How do you know?
No, I was saying no to him. Sorry, I've never heard of it.
Okay.
Who wrote it?
Yeah, it's great. You should. Glenn Weil. He's a PhD from Princeton and University of Chicago in economics. He's a system designer for Microsoft. And Eric Posner, and the son of Richard Posner.
So what did you like about this?
Skip to the end, and what's their problem with capitalism, and what's their solution?
Well, it's radical markets, right? So it's their version of a market system. But let me give you some quotes here.
As opposed to capitalism, which is not a market system.
Well, it depends what the definition of capitalism is.
Oh,
settle that.
Yeah.
So let me read you some quotations, right? See if this sounds familiar. Property rights give owners the power to hold out for excessive prices, reducing allocative efficiency. Private ownership allows owners to hoard assets and charge monopoly prices, leading to misallocation. Oh, how about this? Privacy is a monopoly power over information.
Yes, and we've talked about this previous, Skeeter. What the whole problem that we have with you, or maybe not problem's a bad word, but the disagreement we have with you comes down to a matter of values, right? We, as libertarians, I'll speak for the people at this table, and you guys jump in if I'm not speaking for you, right? Value private property and value privacy. And therefore, if you're trying to institute a system that takes our freedom away to own our own property and to have our own privacy, right, we're going to be against it, no matter how economically efficient that system may be.
Right, I totally agree. If somebody could show me proof that like the economy will be less efficient if you have less privacy and freedom, like I'm not just going to be like efficiency because my God is evolution. That's so stupid. Who thinks like
that?
You
have to understand.
We're willing to live with that inefficiency.
No,
Such
but
a
the
big word,
market
too,
won't.
inefficiency.
So profit is always derived from efficiency and productivity.
And I would
Like,
also say
you're
less
not gonna
profit is fine
convince-
too. I'd say a smaller
So
GDP
the
or something like that. Less profit, smaller GDP. I'd say that's fine as well.
Yeah, we've evaluated the trade-off,
thing is,
and we've chosen privacy and
It
property.
doesn't depend what you want. It doesn't depend what you want. It doesn't depend what I want. It depends what the enforcers of the market want, right? And if you believe in the profit incentive, right?
No.
You're gonna have to reconcile your
Because
beliefs with
the
profit
market will
incentive,
come up to
and it
the
doesn't.
market will come face to face with violent defense of my privacy and property. And if it's more inefficient for them, if it's more efficient for them to leave me alone, they will.
It's not. It's not. That's where efficiency pays for itself, right? This is where
By
efficiency
stealing
pays
from
for
me.
itself, and non-aggression doesn't, right? Yeah, in certain circumstances. Let me read you another quote, like what he says, right? It sums up like pretty much everything, right? He goes,
Should
so
start
here's
with
Glenn
that.
Weil. Why on earth should we have a system where we randomly choose some person to have been whoever was there at the right moment, which I think he's talking about homesteading, and then put them in charge of the future of humanity? I think that's a little hyperbole, but that's such an incredibly stupid algorithm, right? And you're not going to convince enforcers in a true market to go your way.
I don't see how home ownership or property ownership leads to like the humanity's destruction.
The inefficiencies, these small inefficiencies. But
we've lived with these small inefficiencies and thrived.
We've lived with
as a
huge
species.
inefficiencies
all
when government
it takes-
got in control.
What's that?
The government's hugely inefficient. It's like there's inefficiencies in so many parts of our lives. There's like we could have flying cars, and we don't.
The government is the most inefficient because they don't have
Yeah.
the profit motive.
If we had real capitalism, we'd have flying cars.
That's
like,
exactly
and nobody
right.
died.
And you're advocating for a system that's relatively inefficient to this system as well, which is why it ultimately collapses.
But I'm not.
You're
I'm not
gonna
advocating against government
you're not
because
gonna
it's
convince
inefficient. I'm advocating against government because it infringes
I
upon
know.
freedom,
I know,
liberty,
and
etc.
I'm telling you, I understand. Like I understand you the first time you said it, but I'm telling you why your system is not compatible with a market system, right? When you have supply, demand, and profit gravitating toward efficiency and productivity, right? You're not going to convince a person who has resources to defend people to take your side, right? You can't.
I think I will.
Is it efficient?
I think I can convince all the people
Is
that
it
those.
efficient for me to buy a 1 pound shot glass and drink from it?
The point is, he can do it. He can do it if he wants. It doesn't matter if it's efficient.
You can do anything you want, but the consequences
It's
that
actually
follow,
much less efficient.
right,
It's like now my arm has to work twice as hard.
Right? Still a great purchase.
So what were you saying, Rich? What were you saying before? Ryan?
Say what you said again because I forgot.
Like there's always evolutionary consequences to all the actions you do. Like if you
I know what I was going to say. You think that all this productivity and gravitate is going to be gravitate towards the most productive, and I'm suggesting that.
is.
Okay, so you've said it, and now I remember what I was going to say to rebut it. You don't think I can convince people otherwise, and I would suggest to you that I can convince a lot of people otherwise. If all that gravitational pull is stealing their property and privacy, I think I can convince them to take up arms against that gravitational pull and to take their property and privacy back if they value it, right? Which is the dichotomy that we face with you, is we're willing to make the trade-off to get privacy and property, and you're willing to give up property and privacy in order for some mysterious corporation to run your life for you.
And you know what's great about it? It's my favorite word. It should be the word of the day every day. It's just separation. People like
Oh
Skeeter.
man, Turd's gonna get on you for that.
Sorry, it's Turd. People like Skeeter can just go live where they want to live like that and say, I want to give this corporation control over my privacy because it's efficient. And they can just go do that and leave us alone. You know what I mean? And I guess then...
And if we have to get violent enough to like overcome their efficiency, right? And this already works on a micro level, right? I'm fairly certain that there are certain things that activists do here in New Hampshire that gets cops to just leave you alone?
Yeah.
Right. We're not the low hanging fruit. Right. We're not easy targets. Right. Bonnie, you fought like a parking ticket over $10.
Yeah.
Right. If they see your car, do they really want to give you a parking ticket again, knowing that what they're going to have to go through to get their $10 or not get their $10?
It was very inefficient for me to run around with Joa and put some coins and, do more Robin Hooding.
Sure.
That was inefficient, but Jane literally looks annoyed and walks in the opposite direction of me now.
Right. So, and that's always the response that I want, right? Like whoever I'm interacting with, especially if it's a government agent or cop or whatever, like I want to make your day so miserable that when you see me again, you go like, not worth it. I'll go harass somebody else.
And I was telling my friends last night because we were getting literally harassed and spied on by a cop because we came out of bar. I didn't drink at all. And we were still just talking for a while before going home because the bar closed, but we still wanted to talk. And a cop came and parked in the parking lot just looking at us.
Yep.
And so we decided just to walk to a gas station first, and then they'd have to think of a new thing to go harass people on. And then the cop followed behind me for at least a mile once we finally drove away, and then just acted like, okay, whatever, slowed down and made a U-turn and went away from me. And I wondered if he saw my bumper stickers.
Or if they're sitting in the parking lot, right, you go into First Amendment audit mode, right, you flip on the cameras, you walk to him, and you start asking him questions and bothering him until he gets a call and has to go do something else.
Yeah.
Right? Like, you don't want to bother me, bro. Because I'll, unlike the Renee chick from the first stories or whatever, right, well, I'll just sit here and legally harass you and make your whole day miserable.
And I guess if she
And I'll
knew...
do it every time, because we've already established how petty I am.
And another thing about these, how I said, it's annoying that there's this new generation of people that just only want to harass ICE cops, but not... Well, if you've been doing this with the Joas and the other First Amendment auditors of the world for a while, or at least watching these videos and stuff...
Cop Block, Cop Watch.
You would know...
Franchises all over the country.
You would know more rules to where you, didn't get yourself in that situation. I'm not blaming her for... I'm just simply saying that if you want to do that stuff... Watch some cop block videos for a while first, and don't get in a situation where you're in the middle of the road blocking traffic and resisting arrest. I'm not trying to say that the cop did anything right. I'm saying that if he gets away from it with this, it's going to be an injustice that's so ridiculous and disgusting, and it could have been solved by everybody being, wait a second, it's not left versus right. It's not let me look like an awesome person for defending immigrants today. It should just be us versus the aggressors every day.
And I'll also suggest, if you're going to do some cop blocking or cop watching or First Amendment auditing, learn the rules and prepare to get arrested, right? Because there are people close to the show and around the community here that have won lawsuits against the government for wrongful arrests and violating their rights.
Yep.
So it has its upside financially if you can catch them doing something wrong while you are in the right, even by their rules.
Yep.
You're allowed to film, you're allowed to yell, you're allowed to curse them out, you're allowed to flick them off, you're allowed to do all of those things.
Flick them off, yeah.
Yeah, and the smartest thing they can do is just leave you alone. And
I flicked off Sununu.
Yeah, and if they don't catch you doing anything illegal, right, you should be in their face every time they're just up there observing you, right? Make them know that you're not going to tolerate it and you're going to exercise all of your rights up until the point of breaking their law so that they can do nothing but leave you alone.
Well... I don't know. Do you have anything else to say about that, Riley?
No.
We're talking about this article from Reason, and it says...
Which actually is a reputable source.
I was waiting, this is the one. This is one of the few.
So sometimes it's annoying that I couldn't find anything when I wanted all this information about Malay, when I was really, really into learning about Malay. It's not that I'm anti-Malay now. I just I don't know. It was one of the things I was really interested in for a while and stopped being as interested in. I still have the Argentina shirt. I'm wearing it right now. But anyways... Reason was not posting anything with good info. It's they wanted to make him look bad. It was kind of annoying. So I'll say I'm not willing to say actually what reputable news source. That's what I'll say. DHS says Real ID, which DHS itself certifies, is too unreliable to confirm U.S. citizenship. And it says only the government could spend 20 years creating a national ID no one wanted, and that apparently doesn't even work as a national ID. But that's what the federal government has accomplished with the Real ID, which the Department of Homeland Security now considers unreliable, even though getting one requires proving proof of citizenship or lawful status in the country. In a December 11th court filing, Philip Lavoie, the acting assistant special agent in charge of DHS's Mobile, Alabama office, stated that Real ID can be unreliable to confirm U.S. citizenship. I wonder what that means, can be. Lavoie's declaration was in response to a federal civil rights lawsuit filed in October by the Institute for Justice, a public interest law firm, on behalf of Leo Garcia Venegas, an Alabama construction worker.
Sounds like an immigrant.
Yeah, it does.
Get rid of him.
Oh my gosh. Venegas was detained twice in May and June during immigration raids on private construction sites.
See, they're profiling him.
Yeah, true. Despite being a U.S. citizen. Wow.
Again, they're just running up on people that look like foreigners and asking for their papers.
Yep.
This is documented.
In both instances, Venegas' lawsuit says masked federal immigration officers entered the private sites without a warrant and began detaining workers based solely on their apparent ethnicity.
Told you.
That's crazy. And I mean, not crazy as in like I hadn't heard of this happening at all. It's just like that's absurd.
They deserve to be harassed and harangued wherever you find them.
And in both instances, officers allegedly retrieved Venegas' Alabama-issued Real ID from his pocket, but claimed it could be fake. Oh, that's why he's saying it can be unreliable. Wow.
Well, no, that's just the thing cops do. They go like, oh, let me see your ID. And they go, look, I'm an American. They go, well, you still might not be.
Mm-hmm.
We've profiled you. And
Yeah, so
even
that's
though
what I'm
you've got this American documentation that says you're an American,
That's what I'm saying.
we still want to arrest you.
That's why the guy's like trying to help out those cops by saying, well, it can be unreliable, so they did nothing wrong. And in both instances, officers allegedly retrieved Venegas' Alabama-issued Real ID from his pocket, but claimed it could be fake. Sorry, I read that. Venegas was kept handcuffed and detained for an hour the first time and between 20 and 30 minutes the second time before officers ran his information and released him. Lavoie's declaration says that the agents needed to further verify his U.S. citizenship because each state has its own Real ID compliance laws, which may provide for the issuance of a Real ID to an alien, and therefore, based on HSI special agent training and experience, Real ID can be unreliable to confirm U.S. citizenship. It's the punchline to a bad joke with a 20-year wind-up. That's pretty funny.
But will they scrap the entire program and just give up on it?
Yeah, and tell us we don't need to be harassed at the airport over
They're going to
it?
institute a digital ID.
Yeah. That is what I said to my sister, too, and she was like, oh, I didn't get to get my
With
real
biometric data and everything.
Yep. I mean, they're already trying to train us. They're doing this thing where you have to take a picture of yourself when you go through the airport lines. But you don't have to, by the way. You don't have to. I said have to, but you could say, no, thanks. And they don't do it. They don't give you any pushback. They just say, okay, well, hand me your ID. Yeah.
All right.
So that's been going on for a while. I really think that is part of getting us ready for some kind of digital crap, retina scans, crap like that.
Remember when the opt-out thing was a big thing? Like the we will not fly people when they put in the body scanners?
Oh.
Opt out, I'm gonna opt out.
A lot of
and
people
they would shame people by yelling that we got an opt-out over here. This dude wants to slow everyone down.
Wow.
Move them over. We got to bring in extra hands here. That doesn't happen as much anymore.
I hung out with this girl the other day, and she said her husband calls it the surrender devices.
Yeah, put your hands up.
Like, literally.
But you can opt out. Again, this is one of those things where it takes mass movement of people to do. But like if everyone just opted out, which you're well within your right to do, right? They can't stop you from opting out. Just people have stopped because it adds an inconvenience at the airport that no one wants to deal with.
And, it's like they know that they're bad for you. So when you go through with a kid, like I was flying with my little brother who's 12 recently, they just say, oh, go in this line. You don't go through the surrender machine. So it's like, it's not that serious for your safety. I could be hiding something on the 12-year-old. But, and also the same girl told me that her husband called it that, said, when she was pregnant, like a couple years ago or something, she went on like a cruise ship and they had one of those things.
Yeah.
And they were like, she's pregnant. And they went and lifted the whole thing up and moved it out of her way so she could go up the ramp.
Yeah. Just move it out of the way for everybody.
Yeah. Just don't require it. Stupid. I don't really believe they could see you naked. And most of the time I just want to get through the line. So I just do that one.
That's the thing. It's more efficient.
It is more efficient. Yeah, in that case. It's more efficient and less privacy. But honestly, I don't believe they could see you naked. I see the picture and it's like they see a outline of you that they could see with their eyeballs. And then they're always like, what's this? Oh, a bra clip. And then it's over. I've never had and the thing is, if I go through the not surrender machine, then they're going to pat me down. And that's worse in my opinion. So
Okay.
I think that's gross. I think that's, even an actual picture of me naked, I think would be less bad than them patting me down.
But imagine if they had to pat down everybody, right? They would they would stop both.
I don't know. Maybe if they had to pat down everybody. But
They don't want that smoke, man. It's
Everybody's not gonna
overwhelming.
do it.
If everyone opts out, you overwhelm the system.
yeah, but everyone's not going to do it.
I know.
Most
That's the
people
problem.
won't do it at all.
That's why I don't like people.
But that was basically all there really was to that anyway. So more Free Talk Live at freetalklive.com. And thanks for listening. Peace.
This hour of Free Talk Live is brought to you by Dash Digital Cash. Dash is the cryptocurrency designed to be used for spending. In addition to being one of the world's first cryptocurrencies, Dash was the first crypto project to have a decentralized autonomous organization that to this day continues to improve and promote Dash. Every month, 10% of the mining rewards go into a treasury. Anyone with one Dash to spend can put forward a proposal to the Dash masternodes. The masternodes vet the proposals and decide which ones move forward and are funded by that treasury. Nowadays, DAOs are plentiful, but Dash paved the way by doing it first, nearly a decade ago. Dash is one of the oldest cryptocurrencies and is widely available on exchanges, including the decentralized Maya protocol, and in multi-crypto wallets. It's easy to get and use Dash. Start by learning more at dash.org. Thanks to the Dash DAO for sending us 32 Dash per month to promote Dash on the air. Visit dash.org to learn about Dash. Dash.org.
Eleutheromania. The insatiable desire for freedom. It's the new 3-song heavy metal EP from Captain Kickass. Available now on your favorite music app or get it directly from CaptainKickass.com.
If you want to know the latest about Free Talk Live before we go on the air, all you need to decide is how you want it delivered. It's your choice. Visit news.freetalklive.com to receive our usually weekly news updates by email. Plus, we have a Twitter account at twitter.freetalklive.com, and you can follow us on the decentralized Mastodon platform at toot.freetalklive.com. So please follow us at toot.freetalklive.com and sign up for our emails at news.freetalklive.com.
Coming up next after the news, Hour 1 of the latest episode of Free Talk Live, here at listen.freetalklive.com.
From Feature Story News in New York, I'm Mitch McCann with the Week in Review. In a stunning late-night operation, the United States captured Venezuela's president, Nicolas Maduro, and his wife in Caracas. The pair were then transported to New York City, where they appeared in court facing a series of narco-terrorism-related charges. President Donald Trump said that the raid was part of large-scale strikes against Venezuela. Mary Trini Mena was in Caracas as it all unfolded.
This morning, Venezuelans woke up with several blasts across the city. We heard airplanes and helicopters passing through across the city of Caracas, flying over. What we know so far is the information provided by the Venezuelan government. They say the attacks took place in 3 different states of Venezuela: La Guaira, Aragua, and Miranda. Miranda is located in the metropolitan area of Caracas. I heard the blast earlier in the morning. Right now, the city remains in calm, with authorities calling to the citizens to preserve the sovereignty of the country and remain in calm. The government says they will declare a state of emergency. And then we hear about the information provided by Donald Trump saying they capture the leader of Venezuela, Nicolas Maduro, and his wife, Cilia Flores.
A U.S. immigration agent shot dead a female driver in Minneapolis this week, kicking off a political firestorm. Video of the shooting sparked further protests in a city where around 2,000 federal officers have been deployed, Nick Harper reports.
The shooting in Minneapolis has become the latest political touchstone, with the left and the right viewing the videos in contradictory ways. Law enforcement officials say that the agent was acting in self-defense, that the woman was trying to run him over. They called the driver a violent rioter, with Donald Trump describing her as violently, willfully and viciously attacking the ICE officer. Those on the left and protesters say this was murder, with Minnesota's governor, Tim Walz, saying it was a consequence of the federal government trying to generate fear, headlines and conflict.
It was reported this week that a complete internet shutdown was imposed in Iran after mass protests against the country's clerical leadership. What started as demonstrations against Iran's struggling economy has now become a wider movement, with agitations now being reported in all 31 provinces of the country. Ishan Garg tells us more.
Videos verified by local media show large crowds of anti-government protesters marching through Iran's capital Tehran's street on Thursday, some calling for the removal of Iran's supreme leader Ayatollah Ali Khamenei. Though demonstrations started in Iran in late December against rising inflation, Thursday's protests are believed to be triggered by calls from Iranian Crown Prince and a key opposition leader, Reza Pahlavi. Amnesty International says more than 20 people have died in the protests since December 31st, and concerns remain about further clashes between protesters and Iranian security forces.
The French foreign minister says he will work with European allies to create a plan should the United States follow through on its threats of taking control of Greenland. The Trump administration has renewed its interest in the semi-autonomous Danish territory, stating that it's needed for matters of national security. William Denslow reports from Brussels.
France's foreign minister said